this here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game, but the key is your mouthpiece spit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without suffer long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show. The same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggling.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cops said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you, wonderful people. Welcome to this Friday post-Thanksgiving edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard, Tucson Warner here with you every single weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. Gonna jump right into it. Got a very, very special guest joining us live via our stream right now. But he's got a busy day ahead of him, so we're going to jump into the conversation so we can get him out of here. We do appreciate the time. Go ahead and introduce our guest, too.
And today we have Alfred Edmonds Jr., Senior Vice President, Executive Editor-at-Large of Black Enterprise. And, you know, usually we do Relationship Fridays.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guests was craving a male guest. And, you know, we had a plan. Last minute, the plan got canceled. But Brother Edmonds agreed to do a segment with us, man, and we greatly appreciate it. Brother Edmonds, welcome to the show. Hello.
Brother Edmund, you hear us? Seems like we're not getting his sound coming through here right now. So we're gonna try to get that reconnected. But as Tua was saying, usually on Fridays we have Relationship Fridays, right? And so obviously, generally, Brother Alfred Edmond is speaking about economics in the community, and we thought, why not tie that into Relationship Friday in terms of the economics that exist within Black relationships and the impacts that they can have on those relationships they're in. And so we thought it would be a good conversation to go ahead and have with him while we have the opportunity to. Again, won't have him for very, very long, but we do want to have this conversation just to look at some of the overall big picture things that can come from economic challenges within a relationship, especially as it pertains to Black men and Black women in this particular climate. So we want to have that conversation with him as well. And then obviously we'll be having the conversation with you all. Same as always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to leave your comments. We will read through as many of them as possible as we go through. We would kindly ask you please take a quick second to share the broadcast by clicking on the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share it within your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. It is our belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of these conversations, the better the opportunities we have of finding the optimum solutions going forward. So please, if you will, take a quick second to share the broadcast, if you will. Also, if you feel so inclined, you can contribute to the show by clicking on the little gold stars in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can click on those little gold stars. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest on this glorious Friday afternoon. Again, my name is Herb. My co-host's name is Tucson Warner. Two, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, fam.
Good.
You know, my son is here. It's Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. So we had a good Thanksgiving, man. It wasn't a traditional Thanksgiving. We did the what do they call that, with all the seafood and sausages and gumbo. Gumbo, that's what it was. My wife made gumbo last night, and it was delicious.
It was delicious.
Delicious. So, you know, it was a good day, man. I had a good Thanksgiving. Enjoyed my family. You know, excited about having this conversation today. You know, we had a full-out intergenerational conversation plan, but, you know, Thanksgiving got in the way of, you know, I don't want to say got in the way, but people had their own plans things played out how they played out, and people had other commitments. But because we're dedicated, man, we still want to come in and give you all the best of what we have to offer. Today we do have an esteemed guest, Alfred Edmonds Jr. Also, we have another guest coming in to studio, Victor Wade. So he's on his way now, and we're having a couple of technical difficulties bringing Brother Edmonds in, but we're gonna get that settled real soon. And when Vic gets here, definitely, I'm sure we're gonna have a lively conversation. So, I was thinking a lot about this conversation in regards to Brother Edmonds' position at Black Enterprise.
Sure.
And we often had that conversation around the economics of Black relationships. And because of that, I think he would be, he would be able to provide great input into the conversation of how Black economics, or how economics in general, play into our ability to relate. I oftentimes say we confuse stuff like we confuse spirituality and we confuse capitalism, right? They go hand in hand. And oftentimes when we think about what makes us relatable, I think it's more of a social norm than a spiritual norm.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Brother Edmonds should have a little bit of insight about the finances in Black households and Black families. And that might give us some clarity around why we do or why we do not really work as couples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, you look at divorce statistics, right there at the top of reasons, right, are finances, right? You have finances, you have infidelity and things like that, but finances are always right at the top when you talk about reasons for relationships not working or marriages ending in divorce. And I think that, trying to, I guess, getting a better understanding of the overall economic climate that we're in this country as a whole, but especially as Black people. I think if we can get a better understanding of that thing, then it should allow us to function better within our relationships as it pertains to finances, in terms of the finger pointing and the blaming and those types of things that kind of go along with that. I think if we have a thorough understanding of exactly what we're dealing with in this economic climate in this country as Black people, then we should relate to each other a little bit better. We should have a better understanding of what it is that we are dealing with.
Yeah, I agree. But I think we conflate social norms and being spiritually aware.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think oftentimes, and I think the vast majority of us create our relationship norms around our social norms rather than our spiritual needs.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times that leads to failure. But I think the reason why we, as the sole ethnic group that at least per the data, we fail immensely in comparison, and I think what happens in those other communities, because they're more economically stable, they are able to mask that lack of spiritual connectivity with a social connectivity. You know what I mean? And because we don't have those economic band-aids per se, or safety nets, or however you want to categorize them, our lack of spiritual connectivity is easily pointed out, and it's kind of like over-exacerbated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a real thing. But again, I think it goes back to the conversation you have all the time when you talk about our values, right? We need to change what it is that we value the most. And so if we can get to that space, then we should get to a place where finances won't dictate outcomes in terms of our love connections, right? That it should be a different thing with that, right? If we're talking about relationships and love and doing it from this place of purity, then if that's let me see, if we can get our values aligned properly to where the things that should be most important are what's most important, then other things should not then affect them or be deemed more important or higher up on the list of urgency. If you, there's a word I'm not getting in my head right now. But if we can get those things in order, then we should be able to place those things in their proper place, and that should then allow us to kind of understand exactly what it is that we are dealing with.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me not say that. Let me not say I agree. Mm-hmm. Let me say that I think at our core, at our purest, at the soul, at the core of our beings, yeah, I agree. But I think that the social norm has become such the narrative that it makes it very difficult for us to see beyond it. And because we can't see beyond it, we create the standards of our lives based on social narratives. And those social narratives are hard to get through. You know, we could think about it in regards to like this last election, you know, where there was this level of consciousness that kind of rose where it was like, you know, we're tired of voting for the lesser of two evils. Mm-hmm. And then as it got closer and closer to the election, people relied on either what could be deemed as fear or what could be deemed as the standard narrative.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The standard narrative says you're supposed to vote. The standard narrative says you'll reap rewards out of voting, regardless of what you consciously believe or consciously know, right? You've lived in the hood all your life. How many of those rewards have you reaped? How many times have you seen it?
Right.
You know, but your mind tells you, no, this is necessary. And when that happened, we go back to what we know, right? And what the social narrative is, you know, exactly what we said. It's based on these social standards. And when that takes place, you know, sometimes you got to, the real goal here, at least in my mind, has to be overcoming your fear, right? You got to be able to overcome your fear and address what's honest to you, create your own narrative. But I know that's a difficult task, specifically in the midst of us living in capitalist America. You know, I know we coming up on a break soon, you know, and because we have these technical difficulties, we're going to try to get this taken care of ASAP so that we can get Brother Edmonds in here. And I think he can add a lot of context to the conversation. Again, Black Enterprise is the premier magazine in regards to like Black economics, Black business. And, you know, oftentimes we spew the data. And when we start talking about Black income, you know, to be in the top 1%, it only takes like $120,000 to be in the top 1% of Black wealth.
Right.
It's something like 325, maybe 40. But don't quote me. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely not over 400,000. And that's 120 in income and 400 in assets. And that's not even liquid assets. So if that's the top 1%, and that really not equating to a lot in a capitalist society, where capitalism is essentially where the wealth gap is essentially widening, you kind of have to wonder what happens to Black family, what happens to Black relationships, what happens to Black love. You know, that's why I always push that there's a level of nuance attached to it, because we got to see past the social, in my opinion, we got to see past the social narrative and kind of get into this kind of spiritual conversation that will lead us to being connected. You know, I often say that capital grows out of community. Community cannot grow out of capital. You know, and because we've been left out of the conversation around capital, it's affected us in so many other ways. I just don't think we have, or we give credence to how wide and how much that effect is, you know?
Yeah. I understand that. Listen, let's hit this break. When we come back from break, we'll look forward to be joined on the live line by Brother Alfred Edmond. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard Tucson, want to here with you till 6 o'clock. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Food, culture, impact. What's in it for the Black People Media is proud to support The Woodlawn, located at 1200 East 79th Street. The Woodlawn is an innovative economic center for the entire family. Stop by and try our jerk-inspired menu. Plus, get details on our new Igloo dining experience. Restaurant, event space, cultural space. For more info about reservations or our COVID-19 friendly space, visit us online at www.thewoodlawn1200.com.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios.
Mellow finesse, mellow finesse, calm and collected. Till a bitch nigga disrespect, till a bitch nigga disrespect. Finesse crew, finesse clan, Not here. All you hang hoes drop dead. Add up, add mo. Count money, smoke dope. Count money, smoke dope. That's what I do the most. Add up, add mo. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke. Not no more. Count money, smoke dope. That's what I do the most. Add up, add mo. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. My mother and my bro, they who I do it for. Remember sharing clothes, sleeping on the floor. Wake me up for Sunday Bible school, but I ain't wanna go. Time I wasted cause I was confused, but I ain't no more. In the basement washing out my clothes. My fingers cold, fucking on different races of hoes. They don't wanna go, ain't trading places, us ramming them hoes. Fuck them on the floor, ain't get your paper, that's all I was told. Since I was a short, ride around, trying to sell my weed. That's so important, ran down, took a sip of that lean, and now I'm snoring. Watch your mouth, before your lips, land by your Jordans. That was once, all the time, cause I couldn't afford them. I be high, like a plane, like where we going, can't switch sides. In my lane, I know where I'm going, times change. Came a long way from saving quarters, all desire surrounding me. I should live in the forest, count money, smoke dope. That's all I do the most. Add up, add mo. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. Count money, smoke dope. That's what I do the most. Add up, add mo. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. Mellow finesse, calm and collect. Till a bitch nigga disrespect. Finesse crew, not here. And you hate nose, drop dead. And we stepping right over you motherfuckers. Count money, smoke dope. Add up, add mo. Count money. Count money, smoke dope. Count money, smoke dope.
Run it. Up the blick, stacking this money to the ceiling. Big trapper business, granny told me get it. These niggas all frauds, pillow talking bitches, been here from the start. No amount of pussy keep me from the money, took them L's before. Man, niggas already know what it is, man. Ill motion shit, you already know. Run it. Mattress was my bank account. Shorty blinking movies like you Paramount. Can't compare amounts. Always put a paper, even in the drought. Run it. Running like Emmett, I need a percentage. Turn wifey to widow, and then she go missing. The baby's forgiven. We at your head like a scrimmage. Looking out like I'm a dentist. Run it.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
What's going on, good people? If you just tuned in, this is I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard Tucson, one here with you every single weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I'm loving it, man. Thank y'all so much for waking up with us. I don't know how you're feeling today. I don't know if you ate too much food, if you're feeling a little sluggish today or not, but I certainly enjoyed Thanksgiving yesterday. What's up, bro?
No, I'll talk to you later.
I see you.
Figure out the cameras.
I see your wheel spinning.
Yeah, just trying to figure out cameras and angles and how we finna do it.
Well, we got a whole bunch of them, so we good.
Okay, I'm rocking with you.
We got a whole bunch of them, so we all good to be able to hit all of the angles, man. You know, even when it's small, right? Even when Thanksgiving is scaled back to nothing, stuff happens. at least in the Howard family, it does.
I could imagine. It's in every black family.
At least, man, I got a cousin that's waking up this morning in jail. Right?
Like, that's not funny, but I can only imagine.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even gonna get into the story. I'm not even gonna get into the story, but yeah, man.
Well, bless that cousin's heart.
Let's beat that cousin's ass.
Let's put our prayers in for Cuz Howard.
Yeah.
Hope everything is good. Don't drop the soap.
Oh man, so that's just kind of par for the course. Even when things are scaled down, people still turn up.
Hey, stuff happens.
Stuff happens, man.
This should have been a safe Thanksgiving though, man. People really wasn't together like that, I would assume.
Yeah, man. Well,
but I did see videos on social media, family functions where they turn violent. I saw some of those.
Yeah, man.
Some Caucasian families where the children cuss out the parents. That's tradition there.
Alcohol is a hell of a drug. Yeah. Alcohol. Hey,
family.
Did I send you that one video?
I'm not sure.
Oh my God, with a white dude in the basement. They was having like Thanksgiving. They was all hanging around the basement, and the father and the son.
No, but I've seen that one before.
Golly, he flipped over the whole table. He's talking, I'm thankful for these video games. He's like, I'm thankful to Walmart for preparing this food. They did a bang up job, like, cause my man could shit. He like, thanks to my asshole dad for it. Whatever. I'm like, this dude is wild as hell. That thing was interesting. Dysfunction at a very, very high level, man.
Hey, man, it's family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there is no such thing as a functional family. It's all dysfunctional.
It's all dysfunctional?
Right? I think we are dysfunctional people, though, right? And I think essentially that's kind of the conversation we're having on Fridays anyway, right? I always say that the most important relationship one can have is the one with themselves.
Yeah, and right? it bleeds over into all of our relationships.
Every relationship we have with every other human being is about the energy that we project and the energy that we attract, at least in my mind, right? And all that is about self-growth, right? So when you are attracting assholes, it's probably because that's the portion of your behavior and your psyche that you need the most work on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're probably an asshole as well, and you attract an asshole to fix your asshole behaviors. You know what I mean? At least that's been
that's kind of how you
journey.
That's kind of how you peep it.
Yeah, that's been my journey. You know what I'm saying? If you being self-reflective, yeah, that's been my journey.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's wrong either, bro. I don't think that's incorrect. I think you're right when you talk about us attracting a version of ourselves, right?
It is. It's the
where
darkest portion of our psyche, right? The part that you really don't want nobody to know about, the part that you really don't want to address head on.
That's the person that's attracting a partner.
That's who your partner is going to be.
Really,
it's going to be that dark demon that you're hiding from.
Now, see, I don't know if I've ever even heard you address it from in that particular way.
Well, that's what it is.
Though. So I got to wrestle with that part for a minute because
it's real though, right? But that's how you level up in the classroom.
Okay,
right? It's a self-reflective classroom, right?
Could it be complementary
beyond those demons? It is complementary. It's absolutely complementary.
Okay,
even in it being a demon, it's a complementary demon because if it wasn't for that projection, you would never address it.
So I'm saying like this: could it be complementary in a positive way, to where like, okay, it is about this demon that I have, or this insufficiency or deficiency, whatever it is that I see in myself, right? It is about that, and so I attract someone to complement that or supplement that deficiency.
See, that's a play on words. Though.
No. I'm not trying to make it about a semantics thing at all. Like I'm literally looking at it two different ways. Where I'm saying like on the one hand, like you attract exactly what it is that you feel inadequate about, right? But I'm saying, is that a thing where it is purely this negative thing, or could it be a positive thing that says,
I think it's all
this
positive.
is what I use to supplement?
I don't think it's negative at all. I think it's all positive.
Okay.
Right? But imagine it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you have a food addiction.
Sure.
Right? Food is delicious. It's great. Right? Going in, it's all positive. This is a great time eating all I can eat.
Shout out to all the mac and cheese. I ate right before I came to the studio today.
But after years of that dysfunction, it's gonna kill you. After years of that dysfunction, it's gonna kill you. Right? So the positive response to that behavior would be to stop that shit.
Yeah.
That's positive.
Yeah.
And that might not feel good.
Yeah.
Because you enjoy eating the shit out of food.
It's delicious.
Right. But the positive interaction is to, hey, stop, greedy. It's positive. It's just a matter of perspective. It's just a matter of perspective. And that's how you level up to the next classroom.
I dig it. I dig it.
Pain is your friend.
No, pain is great. I say it all the time. I think pain is one of the best things God ever did. I think it's one of God's greatest accomplishments or inventions or whatever you want to call it. Like this idea of this concept of pain was brilliant from God. I think he snapped with pain. Most people be pissed about pain and it doesn't feel good. I understand that piece. But it's
an alarm system.
It's an alarm system. It is how the body communicates to you hey, there is a problem here.
But think about that. Think about how many people desire to die in their sleep.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel pain.
But think about that even in how we use it as a colloquialism, right? Everybody's essentially saying, hey, I don't want to deal with no fucking pain.
I don't want to be hurt.
Ever.
No.
Hence why we fail in relationship, right?
Yeah.
The very essence of our being in America is predicated on pain.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery, Jim Crow, poverty. You go down the line, it's not too many things that we can attach to the essence of blackness that equate to positivity in the American lexicon. But then with all that pain, we want to subside all that pain.
Yeah, you don't want to
deal with all that shit.
No.
Let me just look at this partner who's supposed to make me happy after eons and eons of pain.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with.
Nobody wants to deal with no truth.
And we want to find that comfortable. We prefer the comfortable lie over the uncomfortable truth, and I don't understand that. I don't know why people choose that, but we do it all the time. I was talking to one of my closest friends last night about telling uncomfortable truths, as opposed to trying to find comfort in these fucking lies. It's stupid. That is going to blow up in your face every single time. You're going to be sitting here looking dumb as shit every single time. That's just how it's going to go until you decide to address this uncomfortable truth. Put that out there and let that be what it's going to be. But that's not how we choose to operate. We choose to operate in ways that is going to make me most comfortable. I choose to operate in ways that I think is going to make my partner most comfortable, right? We tell ourselves all kind of bullshit for why we selling you some bull, why we lying to you, right? I'm lying to you because I care about your feelings. I'm lying to you because I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I can understand how you can rationalize that or reconcile that in your head. I understand that there could be some truth there. But it is still not best practice for how to deal with this shit and move on in a positive way. See, that's why we ain't want to invite you up here in the first place. You always think you run something. You always think you in control. We ain't even put you on camera yet.
We ain't got a camera. We ain't got a mic.
You just
he
come
got
in
some
here
shit to say.
Thinking you running shit right off top. I just want to say something.
It's just burning in me.
I just can't. I gotta get it out. Listen, y'all. Vic Love is in the building. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get him set up because he is chomping at the bit to hop in the conversation. So we're gonna take a quick break. As soon as we come back from break, Tu and I will be joined by Vic Love. We'll have that conversation and many, many more. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this post-Thanksgiving edition of I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
Digital dash, my whip too fast. Jimmy Neutron, bitch, I got a blast. Ain't no discussions if it ain't about dollars. Grandma had choppers.
WIIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545. What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh. You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you even think about it. Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprices, Billy Rams, flicking decent, nothing less than tens for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game could never change us. The West Side teaches on these streets where you find that deep before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted. Let me know what y'all on, cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air. Take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we can go nuts and stay at the stove like grocers and post up with O's on the table like coasters. It's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload, 30s a drunk while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always get me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in the block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted. Let me know what y'all on, cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down. In a minute, what am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town, the fifth city that sounds the fifth's empty. When we tipsy, it's risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep, it tempts me. But there's no mystery where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimping ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game. But the key is your mouthpiece, spit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show. The same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it.
Mellow finesse, calm and collected. You know what I'm talking about? Bitch nigga disrespect, till a bitch nigga disrespect. Finesse crew, finesse clan. Not here. All you hang hoes drop dead. Add up, add more. Count money, smoke dope. Count money, smoke dough. That's what I do the most. Add up, add more. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke. Not no more. Count money, smoke dough. That's what I do the most. Add up, add more. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. My mother and my bro. They who I do it for. Remember sharing clothes, sleeping on the floor. Wake me up, Sunday Bible school, but I ain't wanna go. Time I wasted, cause I was confused, but I ain't no more. In the basement, washing out my clothes. My fingers cold, fucking on different races of hoes. They don't wanna go, ain't trading places, us ramming them hoes. Fuck them on the floor, ain't get your paper, that's all I was told. Since I was a shorty, riding around, trying to sell my weed. That's so important. Laying down, took a sip of that lean, and now I'm snoring. Watch your mouth, before your lips, land by your Jordans. What was once, all the time, cause I couldn't afford them. I be high, like a plane, like where we going. Can't switch sides, in my lane, I know where I'm going. I'm changed. Surrounding me, I should live in the forest. Count money, smoke dough. That's all I do the most. Add up, add more. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. Count money, smoke dough. That's what I do the most. Add up, add more. That's what I do the most. Styling on you, ho. That's what I do the most. Remember I was broke, but I ain't no more. Mellow finesse, come collect till a bitch nigga disrespect. Finesse crew, not here. Are you hating those? Drop dead. And we stepping right over you, motherfuckers. Count money, smoke dope. Add up, add more. Count money. Count money, smoke dope. Count money, add dope.
I'm paying my dues, don't need no extras. Me and the crew, group of bad don't need no extras. Playing with guapo, that is a not though, we need that extra. Fly like propellers, we doing extra. When I jumped off the porch, I jumped in the bag. Quietly, just moving the bag. Mama taught me how to stack. Granny taught me about the rags. But I put my money up, had to get into it. Brody, keep it tucked. He a bad influence, keeping everything. Life is but a dream. Weighing all my options on a triple beam. Ball-headed, nigga look like me clean bad. Getting to the money, blue collar play, I'm a Forrest Gump. And know about them losses, took a lot out me. Wanna doubt me, wanna drought me. No, I can't go, that is a no-no. Hit a stay solo, still call my brother. Split down the middle, cause niggas ain't with you, don't mean they ain't with you. Standing in the kitchen, cooking up the butter, gotta call up Dodge just to whip it up for me. Down to no options, more hustle, more better. We stack mozzarella on the road to the cheddar, these ain't better. Still getting that feta. No, I won't let up, I'm hot like a kettle. Pull a string like your pedal. Horsepower, that just a stallion. Put my foot on the pedal. Niggas be wildin', that blick on consignment. Rock and roll heavy metal. Knock them off balance, I need me a challenge. Get down and get better. Don't need no extras. Me and the crew, group of bad don't need no extras. Playing with guapo, that is a not though, we need that extra. Fly like propellers, we doing extra. Stacking the racks to the ceiling. Don't need IG to get the picture. About to float and stay in that something like Thriller in Manila. Trust me, I'm all about figures. Shawty, what you really on? Tryna pay your rent or something? Wanna take you a flight in the morning? She offered a perkery, cut her like surgery. Beat the boss Burgundy. Surprised you ain't heard of me. Flooded with hitters, a rap bag of perk to me. I'm hot as the 3rd degree, 12 lurking, but I'm on the lowest key. Still moving consistent, my too thorough, she putting in work for me. Off and bang, certainly. Still in the club, now I'm dripping like flipper. Success in the game, coming time like a builder. But in any time, I stay flipping Priscilla. No rules on my keys when it comes to the skrilla. Shawty bent over, get hit with the missile. I'm tipping over, that drink got me limping. Stick to the script and I play my position. I'm paying my dues.
And we are back. We are live from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard, Tucson, Warner here with you every weekday from 3 till 6 p.m. This is a Relationship Friday. Each and every Friday, we dedicate the time specifically to talk about relationships as it pertains to Black men and Black women in our community. What are some of those challenges? What are some of the viewpoints from the black women? What are some of the viewpoints from the black men? We try to talk through many of those things. It is our belief that until we get that foundational piece solved and fixed, nothing we want to put on top of that will reach its optimum level of effectiveness or productivity. Whether you talk about business, education, agriculture, whatever it is, until we get that foundational thing right between the black man and the black woman, we will continue to struggle in all of the other areas. Joining us live in studio. You do an intro.
Joining us live in studio.
You don't sound like me.
Yeah. My big brother, what is it? What we calling it? Owner, co-owner, has a Josephine's restaurant. And a retired playboy, Sexy Dex.
Almost won best dress.
Almost won best dress.
Won best dress.
My
Did
man.
win most talkative.
My main man, Victor Love.
What's up? Herb, I gotta just get you right together real first.
Come on with it, my brother.
You said something on the last night, I just can't let it pass. First of all,
Come on with it.
I was minding my own business today. I got the phone call from my little brother saying, I'm like, I knew I shouldn't have answered that.
That's what I say every time he calls me.
You know? But it must have been the Lord using him for him to calm me down.
Letting him use you.
Won't he do it?
Relationship. I happen to be coordinated with Red, which we're talking about relationships with the heart.
You did just mention you almost won best dress.
Did you notice this? I have a little heart right there.
Okay.
So
look at it.
It was divine.
It was.
Be a part of this show today, too, son. So I thank you.
It was meant.
Something my day.
It was meant. Now I do got to tell you this. Last Wednesday?
Yeah.
Last Wednesday, Mama Wade came through.
Oh, I watched the whole
No, it
show.
wasn't last one. It was one day before that.
I watched the
It was like
whole
2
show.
weeks ago.
Okay.
I watched the whole show.
And she held it down. People was like, "Yo, y'all gotta have her back on."
Dude,
So the bar is set half for the fam right now.
Let me just say this: the woman is dope. That's all I can say. And sometimes I trip that this is actually my mom. I'm like, why are people listening to her? She just my mama. But
Right.
dude, she
everybody mama.
She
though.
100, dude. That's all I can tell you. I'm gonna just say a quick story about my mom one time. So if anybody know, my mama is a Rahm Emanuel fan. That's her godson. Boom, boom. You say something about him, you're getting cussed out.
Okay.
So we got a thread. You know, people was like, they was having the mayor's prayer breakfast, during the King thing, right? So they got a few of our guys, y'all know, the protesters, they stand down there. They're like, look, anybody that we identify who owns a business coming to support this mayor thing,
Right.
we going to be outside their business. We going to shut them down,
Right.
boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So I called Mama and said, Mama, look, people talking about doing X, Y, and Z, and why you so loyal to the, she said, well, who said it? She said, tell them to come right on down to the restaurant. I'm going through the front door. I got personalized license plates, so you going to know
Right,
it's me.
you know it's me. I'm pulling up.
Please come to the restaurant. I got something for you. And I asked, I said, why you so loyal? She said, let me tell you something. I ain't a fair weather friend. She said, I'm with my friends right or wrong. And if they wrong, I check them and give them my opinion. But I ain't dumping you because you made a mistake, because you did something wrong. I couldn't say shit about that. So she down like that. You know what I mean?
You got to respect that, man. You don't have to agree, right? You don't
agree.
You don't got to agree. You don't have to feel the same way about the relationship.
Him,
but you
she didn't
respect
check
the
them,
fact to stand
but
on.
that's my man, and
her
I'm
right.
with him. You dig what I'm saying? So getting back to you, Herb, you touched on something because I was itching.
Yes, sir.
And you were talking about how we will mask over the real issues and even lie to ourselves and to the other person about whatever the issue might be in that relationship. And it reminded me of counseling, and I've talked to a lot of couples and participated even in counseling myself.
Yeah.
And what I found out as men, we tend to not want to, at the end of the day, we got shit to say. We got some real truth to say that they can't fucking get with.
For sure.
But we ain't trying to hurt their feelings like that, dude, and especially like in anybody else. And then, as I told too, on the other side of that, I also smart enough to know now I got to get in the car and ride back home with this woman after I tell all this.
The therapist finna go to her crib.
And
or his crib.
I ain't gonna get no more none.
Right. I ain't gonna get no more none.
Since I done told it all.
Listen, man.
But what I found out, dude, to your point, Herb, if you ain't finna keep it 100 in that room, you might as well not even go, because it does not help the other person.
You cook.
Because they gonna tell your shit. They gonna bust you out.
Oh, they coming with
ain't
everything.
done shit wrong. And as just you don't have another side narrative to this relationship situation too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just tell any brother, man, if you are man enough and willing enough to go to counseling, keep that shit one. I mean, if you don't get no more none, and it's a long ride home, even if you end up having to get out the car and walk home, and she take the car, it's worth it, dude.
I got a question around that, right?
It's worth it.
Because we can internalize that in several different ways. Do we think men are more apt to deal with constructive criticism than we think women are?
Absolutely. My vote is yes. My vote is yes.
Because I would assume that if we know that our women are putting it all on the table in those conversations, yet we know we're holding back, what's that fear attached to? Is that because seemingly they don't have that same hang up?
No. They'll bust you all the way out.
But they're gonna come out with it anyway. I think they're more natural communicators. I won't say better or more effective, but I do think they are more natural communicators than we are, right? We kind of swallow shit, deal with it on our own. I'm a man, I'll get through it, right?
Yep.
They are more willing communicators. And, we kind of play that backside. So, I ain't gonna really say nothing. Now say it, right? You need to get it out there because you're feeling it and you're acting on it, right? You're feeling it and you're acting on it. One of my favorite books is a book called Crucial Conversations. And it's all kinds of conversations that you have in terms of relationships, not just like romantic relationships, but friendships, business relationships, all these types of things. And they call it Crucial Conversations. And it gives you some of the things just to think about some of the things that we do when we're having these critical conversations. And one of the things that we all tend to do is make up truths, right? We make up stories. And not only do we make up the story, we do it without even knowing that we made up the story. And then we immediately accept that story that we just made up now. We immediately accept it as truth.
It's the truth.
And then we act on it as though it's the truth. Right? And so it immediately, before I even know what happened, okay, somebody late coming home, somebody did this, you ain't pick up my phone call. Immediately, I made up a story about why you didn't answer my call, why you came home late, right? I made that story up without even really knowing it. Then I accepted it as truth. And now I got a whole ass attitude about it, right?
And I'm guilty until I'm proven guilty. I ain't even innocent, ain't even nowhere in it. You have made your mind up, and I can't do shit to come change your mind that's what it went down.
And sometimes we never let a small thing like the truth get in the way of us winning an argument. Say it all the time. Never let a small thing like the truth get in the way of you winning an argument. People are guilty of that on so many levels. Like, no, it ain't about the truth. It's about me being right? It's about me winning this argument. It's like, you want to win the argument or you want to win the relationship?
Herb, man, I mess with Herb. I never knew I fuck with you like this, dude. You killing me.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to tell you, I just got another, dude.
Well, I disagree with both of y'all.
Of course you do, because I'm smart.
I'm going to just go one point you just made. When I was married, dude, I found myself, we would get into little arguments, and it was about who was going to be right. And then it clicked on me one day, too. I said, unless I actually can go back and capture the data or the whatever it is to prove my point that I'm right, I'm going to let her win. Because we'll be here for 45 fucking minutes arguing about something that we don't even have the time or the capacity to go back and discover what the real truth is.
Yeah.
You win.
You win.
Because I can't do that.
Let's pause it right there. We got to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to dive deeper into this conversation. Victor Love is live in the studio with me and two. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh. You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this is gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that?
Don't you even think about it.
Yeah,
okay?
Bitch.
Yeah. Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga. Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's right.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right?
Tucson Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Food, culture, impact. What's in it for the Black People Media is proud to support The Woodline, located at 1200 East 79th Street. The Woodline is an innovative economic center for the entire family. Stop by and try our jerk-inspired menu. Plus, get details on our new Igloo dining experience. Restaurant, event space, cultural space. For more info about reservations or our COVID-19 friendly space, visit us online at www.thewoodline1200.com.
This is a traffic jam. Traffic jam.
Notice, the Entourage DJs are taking over the game. The Midwest invasion is here, and the true Midwest mixtape king is giving it to you. It's DJ G-Spot banging your mixtapes right now.
You are now listening to Mixtape. DJ G-Spot and Mick Lou, Chi-Town's finest. It's definitely representing South Side, West Side, stand up.
Yeah, they out on my persona. See my coat of arms, cloak their armor. Live and die by the code of honor. The honorable, known as Mick the Conqueror. My mantra is that of a monster. My vengeance is endless until you extinct like a condor. What you think I was armed for? I'm knocking at harm's door. Loaded by the force, call me the Black Mamba. I'm putting up numbers like Kobe in the garden. My thoughts is thoughtless as I talk shit, and there's nothing as heartless as my heart lies deeper than the darkness that dwells where the sharks live. You sleeping with the fishes, surfing with the marlins. On the surface, I'll unleash the carnage till you surf till you starving, searching for a market. I'm the pit boss, tally up your losses. Your fate is sealed way before the card flips. You marks ain't topic of discussion. They ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sun. Y'all ain't talking about shit. I hear them wolfing in the whispers, snakes in the grass. We ain't thinking about your ass. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Fucking lying, I ain't buying. Ain't nobody even trying to hear that dumb shit you kick. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Find yourself some business, get yourself a life, and sit down, motherfucker. Y'all ain't talking about shit. I'm like the players, y'all engage in betrayal. So brave, do anything for the day they can slay you. So devious, even if you can't even see the hate. I don't need to plead my case till you please. I seize the day. Feast off your mistakes from the cleanest of plates. Palate of a pharaoh, it's all seasoned to taste. A vision of perfection, at least 3 in my face. Fanning me with feathers, tease me with grapes. I can't conceive defeat, nor will I concede the race. To these conceited lames that can't believe my pace. So intrigued by my intrigue and display that intrigues the brain. There's nothing left to say. Hands down, I lure them to attack like of a champion with my banner in the rafters. Topic of discussion, they ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sun. Y'all ain't talking about shit. I hear them wolfing in the whispers, snakes in the grass. We ain't thinking about your ass. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Fucking lying, I ain't buying. Ain't nobody even trying to hear that dumb shit you kick. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Find yourself some business, get yourself a life, and sit down, motherfucker. Y'all ain't talking about shit.
Run it, run it, run it, run it. Up the blick, stacking this money to the ceiling. Big trapper business, Granny told me get it. These niggas all frauds, pillow talking bitches, been here from the start. No amount of pussy keep me from the money, took them L's before.
Man, niggas already know what it is, man. It'll motion your shit, you already know.
Run it, run it, run it, Run it. Mattress was my bank account. Shorty blinking movies like he Paramount. Can't compare amounts. Always to the paper, even in the drought. Run it. 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 Running like Emmett, I need a percentage. Turn wifey to widow, and then she go missing. The baby's forgiven. We at your head like a scrimmage. We at your head like a scrimmage. Looking out like I'm a dentist. Run it. 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 Run it.
And we are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard Tucson, one here with you every single weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation on this day after Thanksgiving. I hope y'all had an opportunity to enjoy the day of Thanksgiving, whether you were able to get with some of your loved ones or not. Hope you're able to connect with them, reach out, say hello, and enjoy some good food nonetheless. Here on I Said What I Said every single Friday, we talk about relationships. And so that is what we are having a conversation about today. Tucson and I were thrilled to be joined live in studio by Victor Love. We're a little bit less thrilled to also be joined live in studio by Butter.
Architz Williams.
Whatever name you're going by today, Henry.
John Henry.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Bob Beto. That boy got about 25 days.
Twiddle fingers.
That hurt. That hurt.
Little finger.
Wow. little less excited, but you know, you're here nonetheless. How are you, my brother?
Good evening. How you doing?
You all good, man?
Yes. I want to say I'm one of the. What do y'all call it?
I don't know. Is-Wiz OGs?
I'm an Is-Wiz OG. I don't think I get enough credit.
Nah, you and
you don't ever get no credit.
I don't get.
In all seriousness, man, Butter is like the third member of the I Say What I Said team, right? Behind the scenes, he do a whole lot for us, man. He set up a lot of different things for us.
Absolutely.
A lot of connections get made, a lot of photo shoots and all kind of stuff gets set up through this dude, man. He is a valuable resource in many, many ways. We just don't like the nigga. That's really it. Like
we love him though. You know that one family member.
We love him.
We'll be right with you.
We love him, just don't really like him that much. But
everybody watching, I just want y'all to know that I'm not doing anything on my phone, but everybody else is. So I felt like holding it so I can look.
This is how I respond to the people that's in the chat. This is how I chop it up with the family out here. That's all. That's all it is, man.
This is great. This is absolutely wonderful right here.
Nah. So anyway, we've gotten off into a conversation, and I think when we left off break, Vic, you was talking about the importance of being honest, right? If you're going to take that step to say, okay, let's go to therapy about this relationship, then be all in on it. And I think that's just important, just one to grow it in general. If you're going to do something, be all in on it. So if you're going to say, let's go to therapy, let's talk to a therapist about this thing, then ain't no point in going in there with any half-truths or holding back.
And I just, again, believe men tend to hold back way more than women do when it comes to telling their truth. You know what I mean? And like you said, we'll mask over it and we'll sweep it under the rug. And when you said something like that, what I don't like about sweeping it under the rug is that you can do too much sweeping under the rug, and on the wrong day, it could go real bad, bro.
Yes, sir.
And you're not even that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Are involved.
Yes, sir.
You know, now you got this brand of
yes, sir.
I beat up women and
yes,
all
sir.
that stuff, but we've suppressed so much,
and then it explodes.
Dude. Versus just saying, you know, what's the name of it? I said what I said. Yeah, I said what I said. Now you can either marinate on that, not believe it or accept it.
Right.
But I'm gonna get it up off of me. Then I'm gonna go sit down and watch some football or something like that, and then you figure it out and talk to yourself. So,
but that's the argument I always make as well, though, right? I say we don't relate to one another; we relate to our ideas, right? So, in that vein, men have been socialized a certain kind of way, and part and partial of that kind of way, from a standpoint of what we deem to be manly, is to not offend women. Right? To not upset women, not to hurt women's feelings. But again, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, every relationship that we have is really just a mirror, right? It's a reflection of your greatest insecurities about yourself. And to go into that with the expectation to never hurt your feelings, is whimsical at best, because essentially the goal is to kind of hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Because that's where the growth is going to take place, right? But again, like I said, I don't think we relate to one another. I think we relate to our social norms, right? The social norms say men should open the door. The social norms say men should be problem solvers. The social norms say you shouldn't be attached to your emotions. The social norms say you shouldn't be hurting your sister's feelings. The social norm for women don't say none of that about us. Right. So when she goes into that therapist's office, she has nothing, no barriers. She's free willing to throw it all on the table. She's not socialized in the same way, right? But there is a different level of socialization that goes with women. But because we're not getting back to our core of just our humaneness, we still relate from the standpoint of surface levels because we're just relating via the idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder what happens when Ready Right asked a question, and she said, "What happens when being honest backfires? Right, when you tell the absolute truth and that thing blows up in your face anyway. Does that then kind of make you more likely to say, well, next time it just be easy to lie? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then how? Because I think it's very easy to fall into that pattern, right? When I come out, I put myself out there once." Give you the opportunity to hear my truth, accept my truth, and respond to it in a mature fashion. But you blow up on me, next time, fuck it, right? That's an easy thing to do. Again, not best practice, but certainly something I understand how it happens.
That, and I'll let you go, Butter, or I just shut down, won't say shit. I'm either do what you said, or I'm done. I ain't gonna even talk about it no more. You sit there and argue with yourself. I ain't gonna try to defend it. But it's hard for me to agree with a lie, with whatever the story you want it to be, and for me to just bow down and say, okay, it's what she said, so I can get it over with, whatever. No, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So check this out. Question. I got a question.
That's when you fall into that indifference you be talking about.
I got a question, right? I think the conversations we have every Friday can kind of take on a life of their own, and it goes all different directions, right? But we don't really hear from men in this way a lot of times, specifically not from a vulnerable position, not from an open and honest position.
Absolutely.
Right? So instead of just letting the conversation like take its own shape, I got a question. What is love? And I'd like to hear that from everybody. What's your answer to that question? I asked some sisters last week, I think it was.
Love is blind.
And we was talking, we had this whole 2-hour long conversation. And then at the third hour, I said, hey man, what are 4 relationship pillars that you all desire? Because the whole 2 hours, it was like, this is what's wrong. And then I asked them, what did they want? And they didn't really have a clear and concise answer on what they want. And it was just interesting to me to see how we could define everything that was wrong, but we couldn't qualify what we desired or what would be right. That was just very telling to me. So I'm asking the 4 brothers in the room, what is love? Yeah, shit get tight then, don't it? Whatever.
4 points we gotta make, right? So,
no, it ain't got to be the 4 points. I'm just asking what is love.
It's empathy and sympathy.
I was about to say what you said on the other thing.
No, I'm just asking what is love to you? How do you define it?
Ron, you said it's empathy and sympathy?
It's empathy and sympathy. It's a combination of both for another person. That's all it is.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to go back to what you said, because it ain't just, to me, it's about relationships, period. Like, I don't know why they think love got to be nice all the time. Like, even these church people, they be acting like love is just, oh, God is the man. No, bro. Like, you might have to do a lot of aggressive stuff like this. As two talk about all the time, it's the societal norms, and that shit just don't add up to me. I'd be like, bro, that don't even, but I don't know how you think it can go from one part. Like, Maze talks about it every day, how they politically kicking our ass, and we still just be all humbug about it. Like, no, that's a bad transition across the board. So why would you want to be in a relationship where you can lie? You have to lie. Like, I just rather, and I learned, like, bro, though, you being quiet is not the answer, because I've realized they take that as you don't care, right? And that's not necessarily true. So you got to kind of figure out how to communicate, which is our issue. But because of how we were brought up in America, we don't have the most experience with being vulnerable and being able to talk through our vulnerability. I would say that.
I would say that love is a commitment. I think it's an action. And I think that, just that commitment to love is what gets you through when you can't stand this motherfucker. When you at the end of your rope, I don't have no more patience for you. I have very little tolerance left for you. I'm not particularly attracted to you at this moment. Like whatever it is, that love, that commitment is what continues, what motivates you to continue to show up in that space and be to your partner what you've committed to being. And I think that also Ready Rock made a good point that says, I am love, right? Am I? Is that what I'm putting out? Am I exuding that in my own actions, right? Do I love me, right? That's number one. If I don't love me, hell no, I don't love you. How I'm gonna do that? You know what I'm saying? That's not a very, very real thing. Vic, I want to turn it over to you so you can start your answer, but we're gonna have to take a break in the middle of it. But you know what? Just pause it if you can. Don't lose it though, because I need you on this one, right? On this what is love piece. We got to take this break. When we come back, Vic will be up next on what is love. We'll read through some more of your answers on what you all think it is too. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the conversation. Since I said what I said, we'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios.
Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, it's like,
Be like Maze said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we about 60 years old. I be done had a heart.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't. You don't like that? Yeah, I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this guy. We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what were we doing on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right. Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruiting. I don't want to be recruiting, and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Yeah.
This shit tomorrow. I'm so high, niggas see stars. Might just fuck her in the car. That's the type of shit I'm on. I just woke up high and shit today. Go spend some racks. Hey, I'm in traffic. Call a bro and tell him.
And we are back live from the beautiful What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Tucson Warner, Herb Howard here with you every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. Thrilled to be joined live in the studio by Vic Love. And the one and only Mr. Butter himself came from behind the camera to get in front of the camera for once, man. Is that cool with your PO and all that?
Are you supposed to be here?
Right? Is that?
Hey, check and see if his ankle is beeping. His ankle beeping?
It's plugged up right now.
Oh no, I watched something on TV and the dude he could take it off and put it on.
They put it in your. I ain't gonna say
and
it.
the dude be at the house with it on.
Oh man, I forgot we was in front of a mic. And Jesus wept.
Well, let's hop back into it, man. The question was posed by two. What is love? I got into my answer. Butter gave a little bit of his. Vic, what's yours?
Well, I'm still I'm like, two that went deep on me, and but I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put just. I'm gonna try to.
You want me to say, man? So you have some time to think about it.
No, I'm gonna go.
I like to buy it.
It's what Herb
I like to buy it.
Number one, it's wanting to be committed in a committed relationship. Number one. Number two, even number one, I think is what you said, Herb. If you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. So you gotta love and like yourself. And I think love to me is there's a funny layer of love. If funny ain't into it and kicking it, it ain't love to me. I want to laugh. I want to kick it. I want to have fun.
For sure.
Love is sexy. I want to get it in.
Yes.
What did I say? What's my new term? Can I get some on none?
Yeah. Can I get some more none? You ain't gonna get no more none.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get no more none. I want all the more none. I want all the more.
Run the none.
You know.
Run it.
And I think it's overcoming. I think love is overcoming, and what I mean by that is that I have evaluated relationships with like even some of my boys that I've gotten into it with.
Yeah.
And we get into it, and it take 3 months, 6 months, and we find ourselves back messing with each other again because we both saw the value in the damn relationship. Now, it had its hiccup, all of that, but it had its value. And I've been in relationships with the guys that I don't ever have to see some of these niggas again. You know what I mean? Because when I evaluated the situation, Butter, they were takers. I was the only nigga giving in this relationship, dude, and I ain't with that no more. I don't mind. I'm a giver by nature.
Yeah, but what a reciprocity is.
But come on, man. I can't never call you to say I need you.
Right.
Like, man, can you get down? I'm a giver.
Right.
But I know I can make that same call and he on his way.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So I think it's a combination of all of that. I think that over giving, that over
extending yourself.
The challenge thing. I'm just saying, even that part of relationship. Okay. I want to be able to get into it with my woman, and we get through it because we both saw the value in it, and we went on past it. You know what I mean? I think love is building. You know, I want to build something. I'm an entrepreneur. But, you know, it's in my bloodline. Let's get some dough together. That's sexy to me. That's love. When we can build some stuff and prepare for a solid future to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are some of my layers of love, what it is.
I dig it. Buddy, you want to expound upon your answer?
Well, I just want to
I already know this about to be ignorant.
Butter finna say
I want to just share some of my thoughts I share with some of the young ladies on Tinder. When I was on it. No, they're not followers. This is but look she thick.
Oh, okay.
But look say her name though. All right. So what's love in a form of relationship? I said communication, right? But communication with translation, guys, between both. Because men and women say the same thing, but they say tomato, but we say different things, right? I say you also have to be equally yoked, but I mean specifically equally yoked spiritually, and when it comes to your understanding of racism in this country, equally yoked on what your goals and your mission is, right? And then the last is you have to have compassion and understanding. And then I said, damn, you gorgeous. But we skipped that part. But I was thirsty. So you got to let me pull it up. That's my thought.
I can't believe this right now. I cannot believe
this is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
So those are my things to make love work.
All right, come on,
Let's go.
Pull out the Louisville Slugger, man. What you got?
So look, I put y'all on the spot, though, right? I had one up on y'all because I was prepared because I asked myself the question, you know. And quite honestly, I don't disagree with anybody because I don't think there is no one definitive definition of love. I think it's subjective, right? I think it's very subjective. But I quantified it in my own life, and I said to myself, like, I've only been in 3 relationships in my entire life that I would even consider to be like loving relationships. That don't equate to the amount of people I've been with, but 3 of them that I cared about. And I asked myself, you know, what was that made me link myself into those relationships? And I came up with this definition for me, right? Like I said, and it's subjective. It means something different to everybody else. But for me, I think love is a fixation to that which you need most to cultivate growth. Cultivate your own growth in that moment or season of your own journey, right? Now, what's that mean?
A poem.
You know, cool. Just because I can read and you can't, right?
575.
575. But listen to what I'm saying, though, right? I said that too because I think every relationship is a mirror reflection of yourself, and I talk about that all the time. About you need to grow past this classroom,
sure,
right? So I quantified those 3 relationships, and like that first one was fun and whimsical, right? And I put that on some. I quantified that in that moment in time. I needed hope, right? The second one, comfort and familiarity, right? And then the third one, and this one sounds like the most unflattering one, but this is the one where I married my wife. And it was duty. And it was responsibility. And it goes back to everything that you always said too, and just weeks of these conversations. Commitment is work. Commitment is responsibility. That other shit was fun, whimsical, familiar, but I didn't have no attachment to duty. And it was like,
felt no responsibility.
No responsibility there, right? And it's nothing to anchor me in there. You know what I mean? So it just was, and this is just me quantifying it in my own mind of why I was in these places in this time of my life. Again, it's a mirror reflective to point out what you need most in that time or season in your life.
I just got a question to ask you with that too, so I'm trying to understand. You're saying to me that I choose to fall in. First of all, I see this woman that I like. I'm interested in. I start hunting her, pursuing her, get her, but I'm seeing stuff in the whole time that I think supports my goal. Like whatever I'm lacking, this person brings that other piece. Like you just said, Butter can't read. Okay, I can't read, but I attach myself to this woman who can read. I got the other pieces to how to build a business and all this, but I can't read. Why would I link up with another non-reader? You understand what I mean? I mean, I'm seeing something in you, and vice versa. Even if, and what's retarded for me is that I can almost look into the soul of the one that I chose to love, and see where I fit, where she needs me. You know what I mean? That she may not ever want to admit that part, and egos may be too big or whatever. But I can see, girl, if you don't take me, it's going to be a minute before you find a guy that's going to see your soul like that and say, this is where you need discipline at. This is what I bring in the table to help you get to fulfill your journey of where you're trying to go.
And this
from the things that you said
leads to some other questions that I wrote down.
Don't ask another question yet, because we got to hit the break.
Okay, we got to hit the break, and I know we got 1 minute. I'm just going to ask this.
I just read off my phone for the record.
I know. Yeah, Butter can read a little bit.
Butter came up here just to get bullied.
Let's go to the break. I ask the question when we get back.
Got to take a break. When we come back from that, I want to expound on something that you just said too, about being able to look into the soul of your partner and see things maybe that they can't even see themselves. I've had a lot of experience with that, and I want to know what you want to unpack on that piece too.
It's retarded, man.
Vic and Butter in the studio with me and Two. We'll be right back.
That's the type of shit I'm on. I just woke up high and shit today. Go spit some racks. Hey, I've been traffic. Call a bro and tell him let's go pass some place. Me, my niggas out the way. The boys out there around the way. Not nobody gave them nothing, and the boys they found a way. Take this shit tomorrow. Cause the shit is below to the earth like a caterpillar. No, I don't sleep. I hustle all day. My son, we gon' eat. I don't need a meal. But keep on devouring niggas. There's irony when I'm standing to twist for real. Niggas be chasing their freedom still. Them hoes be top like a rapper plate. I'm smoking this shit from the Himalayas. Stick true to the paper. I don't do no haters that rule up. Make it easy, baby. I spoke up and get this a limitation. Break that bitch up with a profit grader. Yeah, you push away, yeah, you working now. Prices switch up, now you maxing out. You stuck on the bitch that I'm having now. Take this shit tomorrow. I'm so high, niggas, these stars. I just prefer it. That's the type of shit I'm on. Got to take this shit tomorrow. What's up there, stuff there? We fly anywhere, they ain't giving no lectures. We can stay up on bus fare. Just ran me a bag up. About to get high like a bell. I just ran out of my cell. About to go hit a new leg. I swear I'm so sick and tired of these niggas. About to go start a petition. We taking these niggas no witness. Got walk to white chef in the kitchen. These niggas they give you, they want your position, but ain't no replacing the God. My time no hard tomorrow. We shoot it past. Take this shit tomorrow. I'm so
TDPN.
You're listening to The Bigs with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin.
He's
Back. We are back live from the ever-evolving What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest here on a Relationship Friday. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. It means a whole lot to us that each and every one of you are here. If you haven't had an opportunity to do so, please take a quick moment to share the broadcast by clicking on that little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We would certainly appreciate that. Also, if you feel so inclined to contribute to the show, you can do that as well by clicking on the little gold star in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Having a conversation about relationships today, Vic, before we went to break, you were making a point about this ability to see into your partner's soul, right? To really look at them, to really see them, even perhaps in a way that they may or may not even see themselves. I agree with you on that piece, right? It's something that my ex-wife and I say to each other often. Like, I know you better than you know yourself. Like, 100%. In fact, we had this conversation yesterday even. Like, I know you better than you know yourself. You can't bullshit me, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's some value in that, right? And being able to do that and being able to understand each other on that level. But it can also be some scary shit, right? It can also be some scary shit to kind of understand exactly where this thing is going to go. Just I know you so well. I know exactly what's about to happen in this thing before it even fucking happens, and I don't even know how to navigate around it. Like, I don't even know how to avoid it, even though I can see it coming. And I don't know. It's a challenge, man. It's work every single day.
Don't the people that shouldn't they love themselves though? I mean, because it's dangerous if you're trying to look at somebody else's stuff and you don't love yourself, so you can be misreading the whole joint.
Mandatory. That's step number one. You gotta love yourself.
I'm standing next to two dudes who love themselves, and I know, but I also know how rare that is. Right?
No, that's fact.
I also know how to live in a space where you think you love yourself.
Yep.
And you realize, oh shit, I just come out of that. I'm learning that right now. You know what I'm saying?
So I was going to rock with what Butter was saying and say it way more intelligently than he did.
Man,
I'm just
doing today.
No, listen, for real.
Is that what they call shots fired?
No, for real. But when you all both say, I know you better than you know yourself, right? I argue that point, right? Because I think, again, what I said in the beginning and what I believe to be is that we are all relating to a narrative that is not written by ourselves. We all relate via the standards of the social norms, right? And in that, and I say also the greatest relationship you can have is the one with yourself, right? So I think that, what's the saying? The world's a stage and every actor plays his part, right? So when you're relating to your ideas and the ideas of a social narrative, an umbrella concept, all you really doing is playing a role. So how could you know someone better than they know themselves when in essence, they've not tapped into themselves to know themselves? And I think that's the space and place we all are at.
A scripture is coming to my
I agree with you.
mind, and I'm with you. But there's a scripture in the Bible that says we should examine ourselves daily.
Yeah.
And I think what
that
happens is...
That work is necessary.
What I think happens is, the scripture goes on to say, for it's easier to see the needle in the eye of the other person when you got a big-ass tree in your own eye. So we don't want to look at our own self. But I can see this little needle in your eye too. But I got a big tree in my eye. And I think most of us do not want to examine our own self. We'd rather analyze other people and they bullshit and not take out the time to discover ourselves. And when you said that, I've always told my kids, date yourself. Go hang out by yourself. Go shopping take yourself to dinner. Don't be trying to get nobody's phone number. If somebody see you and they want to come and say, excuse me, I'm on a date.
Right.
Maybe in another time and space. And they don't see nobody. I'm by myself.
Me.
And I like myself enough to go by myself. When you see people that always got to be in a crowd with somebody.
Yeah.
They can't. They don't like.
They can't stand their own company
at all.
Yeah.
That's big.
I think that's part of the journey, though. But I think that's part. I'm never gonna say don't spend time with yourself, don't find out, don't learn yourself. What I'm saying is the very essence of relationship is to point out that tree in your eye. When you say I could point out through the needle your issue, right, through this small needle hole, what you're really seeing in essence is not her issue. What you're seeing is your issue. That's what you're seeing. And your goal in being in that relationship with that person that points out that issue is to reflect to you what's in between the hole of that needle, which is essentially your issue. It's how you grow you through the intimacy of being with that woman. That's why you can point out those flaws so easily, because they just reflections of your own that you won't deal with.
Until you understand the system of white insecurity, anything and everything will confuse you. My homie says it all the time. No. My homie says it all the time. And I just felt like that was poignant right there. I said poignant at that point.
Hey, brother, you are a national treasure, my G. You are a national treasure, my dog.
Complete fool.
I don't think we get enough time to love ourselves and be with ourselves. And I think that's easier said than done to tell your children to do it. But if you think about I remember I used to walk in McDonald's and see people eat by themselves as a shorty. And I just be like, oh my God, it looks so lonely. And not understand that might be the most peace they ever had in their life, that's right? True. And then when you add the issues of white insecurity to that problem, right? It's like we've been taught that, to have people around is love. Like, no, sometimes you just need to let God talk to you by yourself. And one time a homie told me that God don't yell. His voice has always been the same. You got to turn the radio and the TV down because he's that cold.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't allow that to happen. So it's so crazy that we expect things, but we haven't got our true mission given to us. We'll get a piece of it and run. And he's like, nigga, I didn't even finish.
Right, slow down.
I didn't even finish telling you. So now, in your departing from getting the message that you're supposed to get, you've wounded 6 women on accident. That's 6 women that's raising 6 different children who will see you in a whole nother light, which you've now affected in a negative way because you have not learned to love yourself.
Sure.
So I'm big with that. How do you actually give your children the strength to be to themselves and love themselves when we hadn't really had the chance to do it?
No, I dig that, man. I dig that a lot, man. That's powerful. I'm right there with you. That piece of loving yourself is a critical component to the conversation. I think that you must be able to have that self-love first, right? That's got to be foundational. So that idea of dating yourself, getting to know yourself, knowing what you like knowing what you don't like, that's critical. Knowing your patterns of communication, even knowing your love language. That's something I've gotten into over the past 2 years or so, just knowing what my love languages are. How do I even like to be loved? How do I like to receive love? Because it's not the same for everybody, right? And so this idea that, okay, because we like each other and we decide to be together, then we know how to love each other. Like, no, we don't. We need to know how. And I need to even know for myself how I like to be loved. My top 2 love languages, and there are 5 love languages that, are commonly referred to. There is physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and quality time. My top 2 love languages are quality time and physical touch. I don't necessarily need gifts. Like, that shit don't really move me like that. I think it's cute, it's cool, it could be thoughtful. If you do give me a gift, let it be some thoughtful shit. Don't be like, just, oh, this is nice. Like, nah, do I need that shit? Can it help me in some kind of way? Right? I'm not really big on gifts. That don't really move me like that. Words of affirmation, though they are very nice and they meet my ear as kindly as they meet other people's ear, I fuck with me pretty heavy. So I'm all day. I'm like, you the shit, you that nigga. I don't necessarily need a whole lot more of that, right? So words of affirmation, lovely, appreciate them, just like gifts, but I don't really need that part of it as much as I appreciate the quality time. Can we just kick back and hang? Can we have a good conversation? Can we go for a walk? Can we sit in a park and talk to each other for 2 hours and let that be a sufficient, a conversation that we're able to sustain and it's entertaining and enlightening and educational? Can we do that piece? Can we kick back and watch a movie, right? Do we enjoy each other's time like that? And then physical touch, it's one of my love languages. It's not always sex. That's certainly a part of it, but the small shit, right? Just I'm a fucking hand holder. I'm a cuddler. You know what I'm saying? I'm a walk with my arm around you type of person. Like, we can't be together if you don't like to be touched and you don't want to touch me. That is a problem. Every time you walk past me in the crib, I'm touching. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how it is. And so, understanding how you like to be loved is a critical component.
Run them 5 love languages off again.
Physical touch, quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, and gifts.
What are all 5 of those languages based in?
You got a pop quiz.
Transactions.
Yeah. Relationships are transactional. We talk about it all the time.
Based in transactions. Mm-hmm. But the purity of love is not based in transaction. The purity of love is based in just being. Right? That's when you just quoted the Bible a minute ago. When you said, in the Bible says God is love, right? And what is God? But being.
Even when we talk agape love, though, you're getting something.
Right, I was about to say, yeah.
So I want to push back a little bit and disagree, right? And that's why I know you don't have children. Mm-hmm. And I said this to you before. It's like, the minute I met Eric, and I use Eric only because he was first, right? But the minute I met Eric, I had never felt a level of love like that before, right? He couldn't say, "Daddy, I love you." He was an ugly little dude too. Had a little stretch.
All newborns are ugly too. Let's put that on the table. Newborns are ugly as shit.
He was albino, like, you know what I mean. There was a lot going on with the little boy.
There's never in the history of humans been a nice looking newborn.
Stop lying to people. A whole club. He just said, "Is you like E2?" That's some ugly shit. I've seen it. She's not ugly.
Post burn down. Like,
I'm just shocked. The ugly nigga shocked that his son was ugly at birth. Thank God Eric looks like his mama though. That's what shocked me. I'm like, all right,
but look, we making light of the situation, but for real though, right? He couldn't say, "Hey, Daddy, I love you." He ain't brought shit to the table, right? And immediately, I was in this space and place where I went from selfish to selfless. Immediately.
But do you tell him you love him?
Absolutely.
Do you give him gifts of services?
I do all those things, but I don't do these things to quantify my love. I love him. If I couldn't provide those things, I would still love him.
And that's what we're saying. Even in the way what Herb said, I don't think they're doing it to quantify. I think that's just what it is when you love somebody.
Yeah, because you would still love him through quality time. Right. You would still love him through words of affirmation. Yes, you would. If you couldn't buy shit.
I'm not saying no. What I'm saying is that none of that quantifies me loving him, right? He does not have to give me...
Those are just ways of showing love.
No, hear me out. Hear me out, right? Because a lot of us read that book and rock with it. It's just like we read the book, The 48 Laws of Power, and rock with it. Because it's based in the same construct of that which we know. We have the limitations of that which we know. We ain't going beyond the scope of that which we know, right? And what I'm saying is that at its core, at its essence, love is just being. It's just being. You ain't got to do a goddamn thing. So and one of the questions I wanted to ask, because Vic said something that kind of escaped me when we went to the last break. He was like, I can see in you. No, he said something about need. Like, I need you to need me, or something like, I don't remember how he made the statement, but I wanted to ask Vic, like, why do you need to be needed, right? Because we all operate in such a transactional state, we come to the table with a transactional mindset. But essentially, that transaction minimizes our value and just our humanity. Mm-hmm. We are worthy of being loved because we are here. Mm. That's it. That's it.
Well, one of my favorite poets is that brother Marvin Gaye. Mm-hmm. And my favorite joint out of all his stuff is, I want you, but I want you to want me too. The right way. Mm-hmm. And most people, they want what they want, but they ain't trying to really want you the right way.
Nah.
And the right way is meeting my needs. You know what I mean?
Fitting into my transactional desire.
So it's,
what can I negotiate the best out of?
You know, so
we don't look at it like that, but
I'm with you most times when you get to saying stuff like that, when I'm trolling him. But I don't think that's true. I think if you're a Christian, and again, I don't know either book that well. So, if you're Christian, God made you to want and be wanted by a mate. So it's like that's not a transactional thing. If the Most High made you to have a partner, that's a natural thing. I feel you on all the other transactional stuff as far as material and stuff like that. But if he made you as a part of something and he to be whole, that just makes sense to me that you want it.
Yeah,
you want to be wanted.
I feel like that has to be the way. Now, when we having the conversation when we're talking about strictly, these tangible things, or these, like we're talking about money and cars and that kind of goofy shit, I'm with you on that piece being a negative transactional thing. But just in general, I think it has to be transactional. Like, What are you getting out of this relationship? Why the fuck am I with you?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I think you missed
it
the mark
has
on
to
that
be
one.
transactional.
So Herb, this is what I heard you say in one of your pieces.
We about to be on break. Are we on break?
I've always said this. We can talk love all we want to, and that's cool. That's key. In fact, the Bible commands us to love one another. But you know what he didn't tell us we had to do? I ain't gotta like you.
But if I don't, this thing ain't gonna work.
And to my point, you said if you don't like to be held, there are people that are in relationships, they love them, but they don't like them.
It's a good place to pause.
If I don't like you, I don't want to touch you. I ain't giving you no more none.
You ain't getting no more none.
You ain't getting no more none.
Let's hit this break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into how you get some more none when you ain't getting none at the crib. We'll be right back after this.
I can never take a loss. All you pussy niggas frauds, and I'm taking all your broads. Nigga, all I do is floss. Cause I'm a motherfucking boss. My niggas pitching that sweet butter, that elder bars. I figure fours, keep bitches locked like figure fours. I'm so mature, got all states and plenty more. I'm so adored, bitches want a baby instead of love. I got the feel, that heavy presence, a corporate thug. We sending slugs to niggas shugs for target practice. My patience lacking, that pumper Oscar, you niggas actress. Cremate you bastards, my life is lavish, no karma added. At me legit with the stick, a magician doing magic. You off your balance, I work the pivot, I'm ballin' Maverick. A mathematician, so much money, I'm growing callous. We niggas envy, just load the city and let them have it. Never take a loss. I can never take a loss. All you pussy niggas frost, and I'm taking all your bras. Nigga, all I do is floss. Cause I'm a motherfucking boss. I can never take a loss.
WIIFTVPN.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Tucson Warner and Herb Howard.
You never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to
You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men. Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same. If I come up and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys. Like killing the male
Don't
babies.
you even grow up with that.
Don't you even think about it.
Ever, bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort. Oh man, I ain't I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Tucson Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah. I can never take a loss. I can never take a loss. All you pussy niggas frost, and I'm taking all your bras. Nigga, all I do is floss. Cause I'm a motherfucking boss. I can never take a loss. I can never take a loss. All you pussy niggas frost, and I'm taking all your bras. Nigga, all I do is floss.
We are back. I like that beat, DJ. That kind of go hard. The beat go hard. I don't know about the bars, but the beat go hard. Listen, y'all, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest on yet another Relationship Friday. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We do not take it for granted. We do not take it lightly. Thank each and every one of y'all for being here from the bottom of our hearts. From the top of our heads, too, everything is transactional.
That's so funny he said that. Because I was just like, Tucson really got a braided wig on. Crazy. He said, I was just thinking. I'm just like, oh, shit.
Let me find out.
Hey, man, when you get older, what you going to tell your kids you did with your life?
That what I just said. Oh, no.
So, too, in a real way, though, because I think Miko made this point, too, that she said, don't be fooled. Absolutely everything is transactional. And I don't disagree with her. I think now there are bad forms of transaction, right? That can be toxic and doing from the start. But just in general, if I am with you, if you are my friend, you are my friend for a reason. Now, is there a negative connotation placed on the term transaction when you're talking about what should be pure relationships? Yeah, I get the negative connotation there, but just the actual definition, yes, I'm getting something out of this relationship. It don't.
What's wrong with that?
Wait. Time the fuck up. Time out. We got comments in here talking about that Tyler Perry wig. This shit is going too far.
Nicole Rogers.
This shit is going way too far.
Wiz OG. Shout out to you, Nicole. That's absolutely hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. And it came with baby hair.
Toothbrush. Oh God. This is funny.
Love it. I can't think of a relationship that is not transactional. Now, when this conversation comes up, you always refer to like a parental relationship. That could be the only exception.
But what do y'all think they did in Africa before America was existing?
That's kind of what I'm
Do you
saying
think they
here.
didn't give gifts? Do you think they didn't touch each other?
But here's what I'm saying here, right? This is what I'm saying here. We've been socialized in one environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is the norm in our environment. All this shit is normal in our environment. It's normal for us to lose 40 friends by the time we're 40.
Sure.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Don't even look at this shit as strange.
Right.
It's normalized. So we've all been raised and birthed and reared in a capitalist society.
Sure.
And capitalism is based on negotiation. Everything here has a value attached to it, right? But then we look at our relationships. And relationships are only supposed to be spiritual. That's why we have them. They're ordained by God, not ordained by government.
So what does a spiritual
That's
relationship look like?
transactional too, though.
What does a spiritual relationship look like then?
It looks like the ability to accept someone just being. Right?
That's transactional too.
No.
You pouring into my spirit is
I didn't say pouring into your spirit. I didn't say offering you shit. I said just being.
In that case, I can be with anybody on earth.
You sure the fuck could.
No, I couldn't.
If you stop answering and listen, you might learn.
Okay, come on.
It goes two ways, G. So we quantify our whole shit based in the bubble of the experiences that we have all had. What I'm saying that there's a possibility beyond the bubble of experiences. It is the truth. That's why God is love. That's why God is all things. That's why the Bible makes sense.
But he's
That's it.
transactional too.
No. Hear what I'm saying. That's why that part, I'm not a Christian. I don't adhere to none of that shit. All of the Abrahamic religions, I don't believe in none of that shit. But the very basis of them, the reason why they work is because the being is about love. The book is about love. Hence, this is the purity of this journey. This is why this can be successful.
So you believe in God?
Absolutely. I believe I'm God.
Did he give you the gift of breathing?
I believe I'm God.
Okay, so you are God.
I do believe I'm God.
With a wig on.
Whatever.
And so you made me?
No. I'm the God of this journey. You are the God of that one.
Okay, so where did all the original gods come from?
But let me just stop it right there. Even that statement qualifies the umbrella idea.
No, it's a question.
You understand what I'm
It
saying?
was a
I can only
with you on that
quantify this in the structure of what I've been learning.
But you just said you believe in
I'm with
God.
you on that piece.
You just said you believe in God.
Absolutely. I believe in me.
Okay. So you gave yourself breath.
But let me finish the statement I'm making. I'm going to go back to even when you just brought up Africa, right?
Yeah.
You just brought up Africa, right? So Africa's next to the equator. You understand what I'm saying? So what happens when you're next to the equator? Everything grows in abundance, right? So we don't put value in no fucking thing, specifically in the entrance of the beginning of mankind. Because food, clothes, all that shit is in abundance, right? So where do I find my value now? I find my value in relating to the human experience. I find my value in relating to my brother or my sister or whomever. You understand what I'm saying? Now you get away from that. You get to the expansion of the beliefs in whiteness or where white people come from. You get that in the Caucasoid Mountains. What happens in the Caucasoid Mountains? There's no vegetation because there's no sunlight. So there's a value attached to every apple. I killed my brother for this goddamn apple because I value this apple more than I value my brother. Just the basics of those environments created completely different human experiences. Our environment shapes our belief that we can only operate within a negotiation.
So then paint a picture of a relationship before.
Here's the problem why we fail in negotiation, in my opinion. We don't got shit to negotiate with.
Yeah, I'm with you on the God piece, right? I do think there's a larger like creator of all the shit. But I'm with you on the fact that, I feel like I'm God too. I feel like everybody is, right? If you tap into the shit. But this idea of
Tap into what?
Like tap into that inner voice, like that God is within you. You know what I'm saying? I do think there's a larger creator,
and
right?
So when you tap into that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not trying to argue about God. That's not my issue.
Me neither. I'm not very religious, but I am very spiritual.
Somebody had to give us something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So I'm trying to understand what a relationship looked like.
I don't think a single relationship
before America was even when it was all one continent. They were just staring at walls together, and that was just love too.
Yeah, no, I think even whatever they were doing, like whether you talking about they was building shit, right? Whoever built the hut, there's value in right there. There's value, right? And so I just think that there's always some value in this piece. Well, go ahead, jump on there, Vic.
Go ahead. What?
So we're gonna go to God piece now. I'm just thinking about what the Word of God says about what is love. He said, love is patient, love is kind, love is long suffering. Like think about long suffering,
right?
But you talking about you love somebody and the stuff that, when we touch it, this is the word said, this is the definition of, and I don't know, Butter, you can read. Can you pull up the definition of what the Bible says, what is love? And it says patience and kind and long suffering and stuff.
Yeah.
When you start talking about
without
things,
judgment.
we ain't trying to be on no long suffering stuff.
Without judgment, yeah.
You know what I'm Yeah. Like long suffering. No, I ain't in this for no long suffering. I want you to get it right. And
I want you to fit into the narrative that I want you to fit into.
Let's get to where we having fun and
whether that be, I want you to be light skinned.
And I want you to be dark. And I want you to be challenging too.
I want you to have a big ass.
Whether
that mean I want you to have a good job. It's still a transaction.
Yeah. But I think even the purest shit is transactional. I think even the purest shit is transactional. Even if the way you look at me, I like the way you look at me. I'm getting something by just off the way you look at me makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I'm getting something out of that, right? There's a transaction being had there. I'm getting something from that. So I don't always have to be this materialistic shit. It can be even the most purest forms of relating that's also transactional.
So let me ask y'all a question.
Quickly, and we got to hit this break.
So Q says love is just a word. I disagree. I say
it's
love,
an action.
I say love. I don't say it's an action.
That's commitment and action.
A state of being. Now I'm gonna ask y'all this question: did you seek to receive love in the same way that you seek to give love?
We're gonna pause that right there. We're gonna think about it. We come back. Ask the question again.
Do you seek to receive love in the same way that you seek to give love?
I'll say I hope not, and then I'll give you my answer on the flip side of the break. This is I said what I said. Vic and Butter in the studio.
I got 20 on Q.
Ron and DJ behind the glass doing all the hard work in the production studio. We'll be right back after this.
In a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Nice them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. In a whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bitch, and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. In a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Nice them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. In a whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bitch, and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. It's what you play in your rap. Stuff a wood with a 3-5. And you go live. Fuck how they feeling inside. I do this shit for my guys. Free all of mine. Talked to Lil' bro the other day. He told me he doing fine. But watch how I slide. Cause niggas see you on the grind. And they'll poke you with the iron. I told them I know that. Niggas know that I blow that. Keep a cannon out of Kodak. You oughta know that. I'm getting high with a dope it. Keep a wood at my notepad. Pull up where the smoke at. I wish I could get my bros back. I leave my bitch with a broke back when she wanna know that. But lately I've been in my feelings and I'm just wishing I can go back. I'm tryna ease my mind. Cause I got too much pride from all these things inside. Cause all my people died, yeah. Jumped in a whip just to take me a ride. Just me and my pie. Then I rolled me a wood just to ease my mind. To keep from crying, yeah. Jumped in a whip just to take me a ride.
WIFTVPN. Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Week events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Week members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Week letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to
You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Yeah, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you even think about it.
Yeah,
okay?
bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Smoking that gas on the regular. Ooh. Can't fuck on that bitch, she too regular. Yeah. Getting that cash on the regular. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. These niggas, they thinking I'm regular. These bitches ain't shit, they too regular. Stay true to my niggas, we counting up. I just do what I do, niggas bossing up. These niggas, they sweating my caliber. Say she never get top in a foreign truck. Pull up to the city, you know it's us. Me, her, and her too, I just doubled up. These niggas, they thinking I'm regular. These bitches ain't shit, they too regular. Stay true to my niggas, we counting up. I just do what I do, niggas bossing up. These niggas, they sweating my caliber.
No, live.
Too deep for this shit.
Can y'all stop fucking arguing so I can bring the show back, please? Jesus Christ, trying to wrangle y'all two in is like wild cattle. Listen, man, we are back. We are in the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. As I said what I said. My name is Herb. My co-host name is Tu. We are joined live in studio by Vic and Butter, doing all of the hard work behind the glass is none other than the good brother DJ. DJ, how you feeling back there, man?
I'm feeling good, man. How y'all feeling up in there?
What kind of voice is that?
We blessed the highly favored here right now, bro.
Voice is this? This the kind of voice.
No, the fuck is not. I've been talking to you all day. He put his mic on.
I've been smoking cigars since I was 6 years old.
Night moods.
Night moods.
That's the intro to Dark Week Duck.
We appreciate you doing all the hard work back there, man. Lil Ron is around here running around doing something, probably nothing, but looking busy nonetheless.
He texting me with all his camera shots that's wrong.
We'll tell him to come in here and make them right. Anyhow, Tu is convinced that
relationships lead to hell. So don't.
Who said that? Oh, the two. That's what that's
like brimstone fire.
It's a matter of perspective, though, right?
Shit.
It's a matter of perspective, right? And I keep saying that because I think Herb said it before you all came in. He was like, "Is there any attachment to that reflection?" It's positive because he was reading it as a negative thing. And I said, no, none of it is negative. I said it's all positive because it's about growing you internally. But what we fear is facing that work. We fear that part. So instead of saying, hey, it's positive to work through it, we just deem it as negative and we escape it because we are afraid to face that in which which we deem it, exposes us.
I'm sorry.
Q is crazy for that one.
Oh, I miss what Q said. I was laughing at Candace. She said DJ smoking Newports and drinking gin behind the boards.
Q say me and Vic look like before that. I mean, old. Hey, boy, don't be trolling me. I'll pull up, homie. You know
you won't.
Q.
You know what they want.
You know what
I got 20 say you won't pull up. No, you won't.
Q, you know what it is.
Q, I got 20 on you, Q.
I got it on Q too. You're gonna have to call all your gangster homies.
It don't matter who
Watch him get
called.
picked off one at a time.
I know a ninja.
And it's cute. The ninja you know is cute.
He was trained by Q.
Q hating on how many likes we get.
That's all that was, man. I just told him my tender is artery. No.
So what's the answer, fellas?
I think that transaction is not a bad thing, and I don't think we should put it in a negative connotation.
Yeah, I agree.
I also, to answer the question that you said, I think that for me, right, I don't know if I'm Christian or Islam, but I just believe in my faith in God, and he's been amazing to me, so I appreciate him, right? And I feel like he put a mission inside of me, and when I meet my partner or partners, and the mission is the same.
I'm learning you, brother. I'm learning you. Come around.
The mission was put in both of us through him, right? The most when we tapped in. So that's not, the house was the mission because he put that in us, right? And so that doesn't make it a transactional for money. Is I was built to build this house for whatever reason. Let's say this house, me and my wife and my wives live in this house and then we die. He might needed that house to be built for 30 years after that when somebody just needed to duck and hide for a second. Like we got to, and so it's bigger than just making everything transactional for a negative thing. When God does stuff, I believe in God. So if you don't, then this conversation won't make sense. But when he does stuff, he doesn't do it for what we understand or when we need it. He does it because he is a bigger thinker and he does stuff for down the line. So the mission that we all follow is his. And so if you get with a like-minded person who's equally yoked on y'all mission, then that's what you're doing. So it's transactional, but it's because y'all were built to do it. It's like Morpheus and the One, like he was built to break the system, but he had to get trained from Morpheus. Morpheus had to give, but then he taught. But the whole point was to take the system down. But if they both stop and say, "Oh, that's transactional," how much you make? What's the point?
You read a lot when you was in college, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't read it all. I can't read
In college. on your book tour.
Shout out to Wesley.
Listen, before you went to break, you asked a question, and it was, do you seek to receive love the same way you give it, right? And I want to give an answer, but I also want to read an answer that Ready Rock gave. She says, I do seek to receive love as I give because I work to meet the expectation agreed upon. In and of itself, I don't disagree with the answer, right? But I think to me, it speaks to two different things, right? To me, I think it speaks to, one, this idea, okay, I do seek to receive as I give. One, I would say, for me, right, I've learned that ain't really the way for me to move, right? Because it's not necessarily about me loving you the same way I want to be loved, right? It's about me loving you the way you need to be loved, and then wanting to receive love the way that I need to be loved.
That boy
And so
been in a real relationship.
It may not be the same, right? I might not be giving you exactly what you're giving me. I'm giving you what you need, and I would like for you to give me what I need. And it says because I work to meet the expectation that is agreed upon, right? And I think that is the key, right? What is the agreed upon expectation? What are you expecting from me? What am I expecting from you? What are the parameters that have been set for this particular relationship, completely independent of any socialized norms that people tell you about what relationships should look like? That should shit gets a lot of relationships smoked. Find a person or multiple persons, right, that you can be with, that y'all can be on the same page, y'all can love each other the way y'all need to be loved, whether it's the same for each partner or not, right? And then I think through open and honest communication, y'all should find yourself to a place where y'all can find some sustained happiness.
So, what is a relationship for?
Growth.
Duty.
Growth. But internal growth, right? So, Butter just said, if God deems fit or sees fit, he'll give me my partner or partners, right? So you essentially attract the energy in which you are. That's what I mean when I say the mirror is reflective, right? So every one of those journeys, the journey of life, as you go through those relationships and you find these failures, you can only pass that class if you recognize what that reflection was supposed to be.
Question for you, Mr. Toussaint.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe your personal relationship with your wife, who you chose, nobody stuck a gun to your head, you fell in love, asked her to be your queen, do you think she has helped you? I'm talking about even through the pain and the ups and downs of what all marriages and relationships go through. Have you become a better person based on that relationship?
Immensely. So now I'm gonna quantify that. because I'm human just like everybody else. That shit irritates the fuck out of me. You understand me? But I have a willingness to face it. Right? So yeah, that shit, I'm no different than nobody else. That's not what the statement, I don't never want that to be what's being communicated or seemingly being communicated, right? So we come in conflict. Matter of fact, I've come in more conflict with my wife than any other woman I've ever been with. But that's also because I have a different commitment to my wife than any other woman I've ever been with.
More invested in it.
You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is this, I can keep projecting out to say, damn, what's her problem? What's her problem? What's her problem? What's her goddamn problem? Or I can stop and say, hey, wait a minute. What the fuck is my problem? Right? And therein lies where the work happens. Right? Therein lies where the commitment is true. Therein lies where that duty is, that responsibility to duty.
So for that, do you owe her thank you?
No, absolutely.
Okay, all right, amen. So now, I'm just sticking a pin on a relationship. We talking about relationships, right?
Yes, sir.
So my biological father was not rocking in me and my sister's life, right? And as a result of it, I tell people my story to why my marriage didn't work is because when I had kids, it's like Tucson said, I was sprung on my babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what that pain feels like of not having a father do what a father is supposed to do with, especially, with his kids. I don't care if it's a girl or boy, but I didn't have it, but I had hell of uncles and my mother had best, male friends who invested time in me. So I didn't go lacking without a male present, but it wasn't my dad. And when I had kids, I went hard in the paint. I mean, I went to every doctor's appointment. But I would dress up like Santa Claus I'm talking about full costume and go to school and act a fool through the whole bill, just a nut for my kids. And what I realized is that it hit me one day. I'm kind of feeling somewhere about my dad. And I said, you know what? I owe dude thank you.
Absolutely.
And they're like, what you on? He ain't done nothing for you. I said, no. He taught me what not to do with my own kids. Because I could have, what do they call that, butter, when you do the same thing? You don't know what.
It's a cycle.
Cooking it up. You repeating that same cycle. Dude, I wasn't finna do my kids like that. When my wife decided to leave me, I went even harder for my kids because I was so addicted and wanted them in my life. And I was not going to play them that when my dad left my mom, he just left us all, G.
Right.
And I owe the man thank you.
Question though. Quick question though.
I owe him thank you.
That investment in your babies was based on the lack of investment or how you interpreted the lack of investment, right?
Absolutely.
And then at the end of the relationship with not the end, but the relationship that you now share with your children, is there balance there or do they deem it as overinvestment?
I think based on some of the behavior and too, a lot of my intimate stuff with these kids, I think I did maybe a little too much, and to the point that they don't, at this immature age in which they are, or at least some of them at this point, they don't understand the value and the work that was put in being a father with them. So they feel some kind of way, and they have their moments, and just we being on this show here, and I just like keep shit 100. I've had my biggest challenges with my boys. And they have bounced out of my life at times. You know what I mean? Like my oldest boy, he's 21 years old now. He went through a situation where, you again know, he was gone. He wasn't fucking with me for like over 2 years. You know what I mean? And somehow because I kept it 100 and kept it positive and trying to figure it out, he eventually came back around and now we rocking again. Now I'm going through that same thing with my 17-year-old son who don't want to have nothing to do with me as far as I'm concerned, and I try to find out what's wrong, what the deal is, and he ain't rocking, and all I can do is step back. And two said, dude, didn't you go through this with Josh? And it was encouraging when you said it, because all I can do is sit back and wait for him because I've extended myself. And I can't do nothing else. But like you heard me say my famous poet, I want you, but I want you to want me too. And what I ain't gonna do, I ain't finna bribe you for your attention. I ain't finna buy you no Jordans to get some time with you.
Yeah, we gonna buy love.
We ain't buying love.
That's that bad transactional shit.
I'm going to just sit back, wait patiently. I send them a text every, once a week or so. Hey, son, love you. Hope you're doing good.
Right.
Boom. And I step back. And I'm going to wait patiently.
And essentially, you're going to let them be.
And
you're going to let them be.
We got to let...
As it turns, how it happens, that it's going to happen. You're just going to allow it to happen. However that relationship is supposed to go, you're just going to allow it to happen.
We got to let the show be. We got to take a break. When we come back from break, we'll respond to what we just heard from Brother Vic. This is I Said What I Said. Herb and 2 joined live in the studio by Butter and Vic. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West End for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. And continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West End for the Black People Media Studios.
Chip on my shoulder, big as a boulder. From all the years I've been doubted, left out, and simply looked over like niggas ain't see the massive potential. I see murder weapons wall, you seize a pad and a pencil. I do for self, I learned you worth more when you ask for nothing. Thoughts of killing shit, my brain's a weapon of mass destruction. Nuclear thoughts lead to atomic verses. Me and Max attack with a common purpose. I stole them niggas, you stole out your mama purses. You bitch niggas been disloyal since KB Toys. The streets gave me poise, no Melvins, just a bunch of Rodneys and baby boys. Listen, I'm not the one that you should try your luck with. Get abducted, fucked up, and then left in a rusted bucket, biatch. Six train of thought, only y'all can conduct it. Just when they thought I was dusted and not a touch, I adjusted, and bounced back like I had fallen on me. I am God, the clouds open, now the sun's rays is falling on me. To the heavens is calling on me, my shit gon' be elite. This shit is mystery meat, you say it's beef, but it's all baloney. And fuck these niggas and all they homies, they all is phonies. I'm riding till the wheels fall off this bitch and it's stalling on me. It's alarming these rappers think that we all in the same ballpark. Fuck y'all thought the disrespect is appalling. Standing over the witch's cauldron, concocting murderous plots to help me further my spot. Guess you can say I'm stirring the pot. Heard a lot of niggas think they fucking with the overlord. I'm going overboard. Potent dope that's pulled from vocal cords. The key to success is possessing a gift that can open doors. Therefore the flow is nasty like infected open source. You a knight in rusted armor, equipped with a broken sword. Throwing rocks at a fire-breathing dragon, provoking wars. These is more than rhyming words, my nigga. I'm no thesaurus, I'm too complete for you to compete. My shit deep as the ocean floors. But yet I'm barely...
And we are back live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Y'all go ahead, hop into it. What's up?
I'm just saying, how do we fix the black, you said the black family, because that's what we, that. Listen,
yeah, for sure.
Everybody need to get in their own lane.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what Tucson taught me this word about 4 years ago, because I didn't know all these big words. He said, your proper polarity.
Mm-hmm.
Stand in your proper polarity is okay with you.
I read. I read. I've been teaching you for a while. You got some words. The, she.
We ain't done that.
Cat. Hat.
No, we ain't done it. I mean, men, not talking about us, but when you look at overall,
yeah, for sure,
men want to act like what's this? If they saying in hip hop culture that they are demasculating us, and guys is rocking skirts, and they thinking it's fashion, and they slowly, subtly moving on. Men ain't really being men, women trying to be men, and kids trying to be grown. No, sit your ass down. You take your lane, do what I tell you to do. I'm going to love you. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to do all this stuff. And you better not do no back. Like that old school shit, man, where we didn't have no opinion, butter. But you got through it. Your daddy went to work. He provided. Mama knew her role. And they little problems was they little problem, but they worked that stuff out and kept the thing going. Now, no, man, the women is on steroids because they in shit, man.
Let me ask you. Oh shit, Q pulled up.
Q pulled up. You finna beat your ass.
Let's go.
Q pulled up. Q pulled up.
I don't know who thought he was gonna be scared.
Q pulled up.
You got your gun.
You
got your gun.
Hey, shout out to
Listen.
Oh, we still live.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So happen when you bring your ghetto friends.
Obviously, this is after Thanksgiving.
I'm from the east side.
So happen when you bring your ghetto friends.
I can't help it, man. This intellectual thug
Nah,
is
listen, man. The brothers is welcome, man. Q is found. Let me ask y'all this question. What is the role of being able to evolve as individuals and as a collective over the course of a long-term relationship, right? So it starts out one way. These are the parameters. This is how it's set up. And then over time, there may become a need for a new set of parameters. They may become a need to redesign this thing.
Yeah.
What is y'all's willingness to redesign it? Do you think it's necessary? And do you think it's possible, healthy, or otherwise?
I was about to tell you, I think you should change the language because it's not a maybe, it's a necessity.
It has to.
It has to be.
It has to.
It has to.
It has to. You have to be willing to do it.
And Tucson taught me this. I don't know where he got it from, but he said
shout out to Salim.
What is it? And I may be misquoted. He said, but relationships without rules bring rebellion or something like that. You say or something.
I said rules without relationships breed rebellion.
Yeah. So it's got to be some rules to the game, dude. And if we not going, and that's what I'm saying about everybody all over the place. Ain't no rules to the game now. We just want to do what we influenced by with social media and music and all this stuff. You can't bring that garbage up in my crib and doing it like that. We're going to have some rules and some structure to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be not stiff to the point where we can't, be us. But if somebody's offended by a particular act or thing that's going on and it disrupts the whole house, hey, that's something we need to sit down and talk about because we ain't finna get out like that.
I think people like y'all and people with platforms, I think y'all have to keep burrowing into people's minds their value, right? And you keep saying we don't have value. We got hella value. The problem is I don't even say the problem. One of the situations I see it being is we don't capitalize on our values the way that the rest of the world does because we don't have the need to, right? And then when you understand it like that, then you know how to. I understand that a lot of people rock with me or mess with me because of what I can do for them, right?
Mm.
Even if they don't need it from me from a couple of years, they keep me close for what they know they need it, right? And I understand that's just how life is. So I know I have a lot of value. It doesn't matter what a dollar says. Butter is very valuable. Where I go, how I live, and just me being me, I'm valuable.
Let me provide some clarity, though. I didn't say that we don't have any value. I said 2 seconds ago, I'm God. God damn it, there's nothing above me, right? So that's the ultimate value.
Wig was just
right? No, my wig is on right? But what I am saying is that our value system is skewed, which is the American norm, right? So we have replaced the intrinsic value with the external value. So everyone attaches value to that dollar in your pocket. We can deny it all we want, but the social standard in America is your values is directly attached to that dollar in your pocket, right? Hence, that's your goddamn God. That's your God. You can't have competing gods.
But then it's a matrix, right? So if I know that that's all bull crap, right? But then I also took the blue pill and I live in both worlds. I understand that I'm eating slop, but when I'm asleep, it look like a steak, right? So I have to be disciplined enough to eat the slop. So when I go into the matrix, I know how to manipulate the system to bring money back in for my people to at least get us where we can buy a piece or take over a piece where my people are asleep and wake them up one at a time.
That's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. But essentially, at the core of that belief system, what are you saying? At the core of that belief system, you're saying, how can I dim the light to my godness to fit in this system that has created a God for me?
No, I don't think I'm saying that
That's
at all.
exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying I want to dim my light at all. Because
No.
The thing they kept saying, they kept finding Neo because his fucking light was so bright.
Hear what I'm saying.
Even when he was in the Matrix.
So I don't know the movie like you know the movie.
Stop quoting like
right?
you did.
I didn't say the Matrix at all, asshole. I responded to your goddamn question. So let's be clear, right?
Y'all too.
But listen, this is what I'm saying. You said I could sleep or eat slop or whatever you said. Right. So one day bring back steak, basically, right? The steak concept is based in the value system of America. Now going back to
that goes back his commitment and his love that he's willing to do that for the people that he's called to serve. Or he won't, what I mean?
He obviously didn't see the movie for real.
No. Slop and steak is still based in the same concept.
He has that much love that even if it's slop, I could tell some, man, my mama said something to me one time, dude, and I told her, I said, don't you ever tell me that again. Because when you tell me that means I got to give up that. And I told my mother I'd rather eat shit And what you think I shouldn't take, I'll take it for the sake of my kids. So don't take, you know what I mean? So that's my love that I got for my kids, that you might say I'm the grossest nigga on the planet for eating shit. For my babies, I'm gonna eat the shit. How about that? Put some hot sauce on it.
Hot sauce makes everything better. But also, these... The slop. I'm saying this though, just so we not having a miscommunication. The steak was actually slop. The problem was you were asleep and you thought it was a steak. I mean, you thought it was a steak, but it was really slop. Once you woke and you know it's slop, no matter what. So you manipulate the system to say, all right, I know Herb think he eating the steak, even though I'm looking at the slop.
Right.
Do I want to argue with him about eating the slop, or am I trying to wake him up? Fuck the steak. I'm trying to at least put messages in his head so he can wake up.
If I'm happily eating slop, let me eat the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. To a certain
I'm just saying about how we view other people's relationships, right? We put this standard cookie cutter box on how relationships should be, right? They need to look like this, need to look like that. And if they don't, then something's wrong with you. If those two people are happy, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And neither should you, right? It do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I've often expressed my personal philosophy on relationships and you know, love and partnership on this show plenty of times, right? Many people disagree with it. That's perfectly fine, right? If it works for me, it's cool. And if your philosophy for how you do things, which I disagree with, and I find it to be unnatural and weird, if that works for you, fine, do that shit.
Don't lose no sleep.
Do that shit. Whatever works for you, do that shit. All I'm saying is, like, we just have to find a way to be our healthiest selves as individuals and as a partnership in this relationship. And I don't really care how you find that place of happiness, right? It'll be different for different people. That equation changes from one relationship to the next. For this relationship, it may be more heavy on economics. For this relationship, it may be more heavy on sex. This relationship may be all about the kids. This relationship may be all about God. Whatever it is that works for you, if it's working for y'all, do that shit. I'm not trying to write a one-size-fits-all fucking how-to guide that don't exist.
I will say this, Herb, but you know what love ain't? It ain't destruction. It ain't tearing you down.
That's a fact.
To make your own self feel good about you and you killing the other person's spirit and soul.
Yeah.
Because that ain't love.
Yeah, what ain't love is easier to see and define than what is.
If we doing more harm to each other than good, get the hell out of here.
Let me ask you a question then, since you said that.
You always want to ask a question right at the break.
Because I like to talk. Should I wait? No, fuck that. Let me forget my question. Let me at least get the question on the table. You spoke earlier about the lack of having your dad around, right? And you said what ain't love is tearing someone down, right? But essentially, not having them around in a lot of ways tore you down, which created a result or response to how you dealt with your kids, right? And maybe he wasn't capable of giving you any other kind of love. So essentially, maybe the tearing you down was actually love.
One of my favorite rappers is T.I. He has a song called I Still Love You. And one of the verses is to his father. And in that verse, he says, without giving it to me, you gave it to me. And that's a possibility too.
Clear.
Maybe being there would have made it worse.
But I don't know his whole journey of what got him built the way he built.
I'm just asking questions.
Got to turn this thing back over to DJ. DJ, the show is yours. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into this conversation. We got another 30 minutes with you guys. We will be right back.
Finest definitely represent South Side, West Side, stand. Yeah, they honor my persona. See my coat of arms, cloak their armor. Live and die by the code of honor. The honorable, known as Mick the Conqueror. My mantra is that of a monster. My vengeance is endless until you extinct like a condom. What you think I was armed for? I'm knocking at harm's door. Molded by the force, call me the Black Mamba. I'm putting up numbers like Kobe in the garden. My thought is thoughtless as I talk shit, and there's nothing as heartless as my music ride deeper than the darkness that dwells where the sharks live. You sleeping with the fishies, surfing with the marlins. On the surface, I'll unleash the carnage till you surf, till you starving, searching for a market. I'm the pit boss, tally up your losses. Your fate is sealed way before the card flips. You marks ain't topic of discussion. They ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sump. Y'all ain't talking about shit. I hear them wolfing in the whispers, snakes in the grass. We ain't thinking about your ass. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Fucking lying
ain't buying, ain't nobody even trying to hear that dumb shit you kick. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Find yourself some business, get yourself a life. That motherfucker, y'all ain't talking about shit. Unlike the players, y'all engage in betrayal. So brave, do anything for the day they can slay you. So devious, even if you can't even see the hate. I don't need to plead my case till you please. I seize the day. Feast off your mistakes from the cleanest of plates. Palate of a pharaoh, it's all seasoned to taste. A vision of perfection, at least 3 in my face. Fanning me with feathers, tease me with grapes. I can't conceive defeat, nor will I concede the race to these conceited lames that can't believe my pace. So intrigued by my intriguing display that intrigues the brain, there's nothing left to say. Hands down, I lure them to attack like cash. Is the allure of a champion with my banner in the rafters. Topic of discussion, they ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sun, y'all ain't talking about shit. I hear them wolfing in the whispers, snakes in the grass. We ain't thinking about your ass, y'all ain't talking about shit. Fucking lying, ain't buying, ain't nobody even trying to hear that dumb shit you kick. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Find yourself some business, get yourself a life. That motherfucker, y'all ain't talking about shit.
WIFTVPN.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to
Shh. You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men. Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same. If I come over and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you even think about it. Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga. Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad!
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Run it. Up the blick, stacking this money to the ceiling. Big trapper business, granny told me get it. These niggas all frauds, pillow talking bitches, been here from the start. No amount of pussy keep me from the money, took them L's before. Man, niggas already know what it is, man. Ill motion shit, you already know. Run it. Mattress was my bank account. Shorty blinking movies like he Paramount. Can't compare amounts. Always put a paper even in the drought. Run it. Running like Emmett, I need a percentage. Turn wifey to widow and then she go missing. The baby's forgiven. We at your head like a scrimmage. I'm coming out like I'm a dentist. Run it. My niggas ain't running unless it's the cash. Get to the bag, digital dash, mobile too fast. Jimmy Neutron, bitch, I got a blast. Ain't no discussions if it ain't about dollars. Grandma had choppers, this baby a scholar. I hustle too hard, I need every dollar. Don't want the clout, you can keep all the followers. How you get the sauce like that? Thought he fell off, but he bounced right back. Niggas show teeth, but afraid to attack. The Cannon Clary Bird, 33 in the strap. Your boy blessed in, yeah, I bees in the trap. Never been the one to switch teams with your dad. Had to pay my dues, and some mean in the day. Real about the drop, hurt they fiending for crack. Run it.
WIFTVPN.
Live from What's What's in it for the Black Media Studio? You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly. What he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Worth.
That's about one of the nicest things you ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
We are back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Network. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you all. It is not lost upon us that y'all could literally be doing anything else or absolutely nothing, but y'all choosing to be a part of the conversation. Vic, we were talking about that earlier today, right? Doing nothing is a thing, right? You ever tell somebody like, hey, yo, what you doing today? Nothing. Oh, well, come through. No, you missed it. I'm doing nothing. That is the thing that I'm doing.
I'm intentional about nothing today.
Yeah, that is the thing that I am doing. And so we understand that y'all could absolutely be doing anything else or absolutely nothing. The fact that y'all are here is something that we appreciate and do not take for granted. Thank each and every one of y'all. If you are just tuned in, this is I Said What I Said, man. His name is Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. We do this thing every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Today, it is a Friday, and every Friday, we talk about relationships. So on this particular Relationship Friday, we figured we'd have a conversation with the brothers, and we wanted to do intergenerational conversation that kind of broke down at the last minute. We still got some aspects of that going on, but we want to go like 50, 40, 30, 20, and we kind of lost some of that at the last minute. Not to worry, though, because we got fam. And, fam come through in the clutch.
It's super impromptu, man, but I appreciate both you brothers for coming in, man. I really do.
Indeed. And so Vic, Butter came through, and we've been having a really, really good conversation along with y'all, too. Y'all's input is always valuable. It's always appreciated. Anything you want to leave in the comments, go ahead and do so. We will read through as many of them as possible as we go through the show. Two, I'm picking up on something, man. Lil Ron get more love in these streets than we knew. I've been seeing Lil Ron name in the comments a lot, right?
But I don't know if it's attached to love, though.
They just be fucking with Lil Ron?
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of questions like, who's the DJ? Oh, he's killing the music.
Nah, so they know that
who's
DJ
in there if that ain't Lil Ron? They
So-
basically shitting on Lil
So
Ron.
DJ is in the
Is the
production
DJ.
studio. Right. So DJ is DJing, right? And he's running the board behind the
Ron
glass.
just
Right.
lost his job.
He DJ is doing all the other production back there. Ron is here though, and I've been seeing some love
Ron's
for Ron.
lazy ass is laying on the couch.
Ron, I think he put enough
Doing
work
what
to
Lil Ron do.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Relaxing.
Unless Big Red walk back in.
Oh,
Big Red walk back in, Ron gonna start like sweeping with no broom. just
moving his arms.
Why did it take me 2 episodes to realize who Big Red was? That was the worst part. I was like,
God, dog.
I'm sorry, bro.
First reading, now comprehension.
God, dog.
Grammar or something.
God, dog, man. Listen, we got about 20 minutes left in this conversation, fellas. We certainly won't be putting a bow on this particular conversation. We're not going to solve nothing here, but let's try and get some understanding about perspective and how we view this thing in terms of getting to that healthy space in relationship. We were talking in the last segment about this necessity of being able to grow, evolve, and change with your relationship and with the times. I think the inability to do that dooms your relationship. If you can't evolve with that thing, if you can't start to understand that your partner may have new desires or new interest or whatever it may be, and obviously, if that gets to an extreme level that you can't deal with, then it's just you can't deal with it. You become a different person that I don't even fuck with, and that's cool. But just in terms of the natural evolution of people, right? That process has to be honored. It has to be respected, and you have to be able to roll with it in order to maintain health in a long-term relationship.
I still want to bring that question up that I feel like I'm in court. No, it's not me on camera.
Seems like you did that before.
No, about what's needed. And I think, again, Two always brings it up about white insecurity. And I don't think people really understand the role it plays in our relationships. And we really need to start feeding each other words of affirmation, just helping each other to get to a solid ground, bro. Like, I don't want to be a part of taking another black man down, not spiritually, not emotionally, because I understand, like, even if you look at it as the butterfly effect, me tearing a brother down might hurt my son later on, right? So just on this most selfish basis, right? And then men, we have to understand, like, oh, black women fuss too much. Man, stop saying that soft-ass shit, bro. Please appreciate what they're doing right now, what they've been doing for the last 30 years to keep us afloat, right?
Speaking of soft-ass shit, DJ says, I'm DJ. Thanks for the love on a show talking about love. Just while we're on the topic of soft ass shit, go ahead.
That was weird.
That was weak as shit, DJ. You just become the new Lil Rap.
You sat back there all that time, and that's what you came up with?
That's like a nigga that owned a cat and he lives by himself. Like, what is going on in that house, bro? No, I think
DJ like I got a cat.
I got 3 dogs. I got
it's
4
the
dogs.
puzzles. No,
4 dogs.
no, I think we do. I think that the people that, and I hate to use this term woke, but the people that are who have been blessed to have God's love in them, you need to keep sharing it, bro, because we at a point where the attack is so real, and I hate that people open the book and so like you ask Vic, and I mean, it's not to but just this scenario. You ask Vic if his kids are getting what he, you got to read the book at the end of the chapter. If it's still on chapter 1, his kid might take it right as a certain way in chapter 1 versus at the end of the book, he'd be like, that's why my daddy did it. And like, did his daddy hurt him or did his daddy make him vulnerable to things that made him grow instead of tearing him down? It's those two different things, right? Tearing you down, intently tearing you down, saying da-da-da. Leaving you vulnerable to a situation, not protecting you as a man is a total different thing, right? And then they got 2 different pathways that you can heal from them. But I truly believe that we don't understand white insecurity, and that's what leads us into these situations. Like, I don't think black women have been amazing to me. They've been like the most supportive things that I've ever had in my life. Man, mothers, sisters, best friend, even my ex-wife tried to support the best she could. I kept messing up. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, again, Toussaint quotes it all the time. So, use that quote. And when we're dealing with each other, we have to deal with each other from that perspective and then kind of gauge what level a person's in. If a person's on full range niggery, I'm not going to try to have a deep conversation with them about what love is. I'll just try to inch them a little closer to reality where they at. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even with the Vaughn situation, some people like, oh, Vaughn this, Vaughn that. It's like, bro, look at the whole scenario. Buddy was in the car asleep, bro. Like, that's not even the real issue. The real issue is, why did Vaughn and Shorty feel like that's the way to deal with each other as black men? Like, who really felt them? Like, who let them down? Them two shorties who like 20-something? Or their communities who hadn't spent the time to show them how to show love with each other?
We've been dropping this ball.
Right, we've been dropped on all. I hate when grown people blame these shorties. Like, I had a conversation with a dude at the gym, and he was like, everything out his mouth was young nigga this, young nigga that. He was like 60-something, and he was talking to dudes my age, was probably about 30 at the time. And the gym is small, and he was like, young niggas, y'all music this, and yo, young nigga. And man, I just went to the back of the gym. But long story short, when they finally came, he came to the back of the gym and asked me if he could bench. I'm like, well, I got 2 more sets. And he said, see, this young nigga don't get it. I could have blessed his life with the knowledge. I could take no more. I say, bro, what lotion you use, bro? And he like, what? I said, I heard you earlier say you used to walk with Martin Luther King and all this stuff, bro. Your skin flawless. I don't see a dog bark, a mite, a glass bottle. Like, your lotion is on point, bro. You see, I got war wounds, homie. Like, I'm trying to get my skin to look like yours. And then I heard you brag about that Escalade you got while you going to the 50. Like, I don't even go to the 50 because the chick's too young. Well, he's talking about the lick. I'm like, I don't even go because. So I want you to know, essentially, you're fucking your granddaughter that you never raised. You know what I'm saying? And stop talking about our music. Yeah, our music is ratchet. I give it to you, right? Y'all music was love in between the sheets. Yeah, we was all about, see, we were talking about love. Yeah, but the problem was your wife got on her cycle. And you fucked the girl down the street. And when she told you you was pregnant, your lifestyle was so comfortable, you decided not to deal with that. So that was the first nigga, right? That was back in the 60s and 70s when it was hot to be a pimp, when you niggas was getting your hair done, feminine type shit, you feel me? And he was like, but then when that little nigga did what you did, because you did it to him, he let them other niggas. But if you had the balls and the fortitude that you keep talking about, you go get that first nigga and make him go get them other niggas and make them get they niggas, and we'll have sons and fathers. But we don't, because you's a bitch. Stop blaming it on the baby that been left to talk that he was a nigga, because you was taught you was a king. You diverted from the plan. So we can't keep looking from this issue like it's a 2020 issue. We got to look at this issue from a 1960. And a lot of times, we do not dig that deep when we have a conversation with each other. So when I'm talking to an old fool, I know you're an old fool because I hang with old wise men. So when you talk that foolish shit, I ask you what your lotion you use, just to let you know you ain't shit, right? And if we don't deal with each other, when I deal with a woman that's been hurt, I don't go right back at her. First off, men shouldn't argue with women. That's the point. The argue is a prequel to a fight, right? And I don't even argue with niggas long. Just slap you or do whatever because there ain't no need. So what you argue with a woman for, right? Understand she might be hurt, but listen to her heart, G. Like Lil Wayne had a song that fucked me up. He say, I'd rather be in the sky swimming with the fishes. Like, if you just let it graze over you, the nigga saying the world's so turned upside down, he said, or in the ocean, flying with the pigeons.
Right.
My man is telling you.
Right.
I don't understand, but this shit sound fucked up and weird.
Right. Something is upside down.
All we get is, he cussed too much. The little nigga just told you.
Right.
He think pigeons fly
Swim.
And swim. And
fish fly.
Thing I couldn't have got through without you.
I know. You preaching though.
Lost in the motherfucker.
You preaching though. You've been preaching for like 3 minutes, and I dig it, man. I think you was really on point. We got to hit our last break. When we come back, we'll take final points from everybody, so y'all can leave y'all's too. We will take y'all's as well. Right after this break, we'll put a bow on the show for today. Thank y'all so much for being here for this Friday post-Thanksgiving edition of I Said What I Said. Be right back.
WIFTVPN.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh, you hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards.
Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that?
Don't you even think about it.
Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
WIFTVPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Warner.
That's about one of the nicest things you've ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
We are back live from What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Vic and Butter joining us live in the studio. My name is Herb. His name is Tu. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us, fellas. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. Any closing remarks? I mean, obviously, you know, this is not a conversation to be solved in 3 hours or 3 years even. But, you know, as best you can, put a bow on some of the discussions that we've had.
We'll go this way. I just say, can't we all just get along? You know what I mean? And I think for me, it's self-examination on who you are, and if you're even ready for a relationship. And if you know that you're not ready because of you, not because of, we're not pointing fingers, if you haven't examined yourself enough to know that I've dealt with the issue with my father feeling abandoned by my dad, and you know, my wife leaving me, to where I get resolved and get answers, to where I don't keep making the same stupid mistakes, taking it into the new relationship. I'm doing some intentional damage to that other person that ain't fair to them, because I haven't resolved my own baggage yet. So I think it's self checking yourself and working on that.
Agree. I would only add that if everybody in the world or everybody in your life is saying the same thing and most of them don't even talk, you should really look at yourself. That's a key sign, right? If everybody telling you certain things, everybody can't be wrong, right? And then you cannot fight on. Well, yeah, that's wrong. Okay, so I was about to say you can't fight on your back, but Q just shows you can. But men, we fucked up. And it ain't just our fault, but we have to fight. We can't live in excuses and woe is me's. It's time for us to get up and be the warriors that's in you. And the more you practice getting up, the easier the shit'll be.
I dig that. For me, I think it's a process, and that process starts inside of you first, right? It's you first. What kind of person are you bringing into this relationship? What type of person are you bringing into this initial interaction when you meet this person who could potentially become a partner of yours? Are you whole, right? Do you love yourself? Do you know what it is that you desire in a partner, or is it just all over the place? Oh, she got a fat ass. Oh, she kind of funny. Oh, she got this. Like, do you actually know what it is you're looking for in a partner? That'll help you weed through a lot of the bullshit too. And then once you find that person and y'all commit to some type of long-term relationship, brutally honest communication is key. Like we talk about this communication. How we talk all the time. Yeah, that don't mean we are communicating, right? Communication is the sending and receiving of messages. You can send messages all day until it's been properly decoded and received. You just making noise. And so the communication is key. It's got to be honest communication. You got to be willing to say those uncomfortable truths, and you got to be willing to hear those uncomfortable truths too and accept it. Another philosophy I've kind of stumbled upon in the last year is this idea that two truths don't make a lie, right? And it is just this idea of you and your partner are giving different perspectives on a given situation. You said it happened like this. She says it happens like that. You like, well, if I think it happened like this, there's no fucking way you can think it happened like that unless you're lying, right? Not necessarily, right? Two truths don't make a lie. This is my truth. That is her truth. And neither one of us have to necessarily be lying because we experience that thing differently. And so I think being cognizant of that piece is a critical component as well. But then at the end of the day, are you committed to it? Are you committed to seeing this thing through till it's in, right? And the end like being death, or end being like we've reached this point where there's no fucking reconciliation. There's no way we can continue to work as a unit together. That commitment is key. Loyalty is key. If you have those things in place, you stand a fighting chance. At the end of the day, this shit is hard, right? The shit is hard. I'm not even like this idea of two people joining together and combining their lives to make one. It's hard as fuck. That's gonna take work every single day. And so at the end of the day, you're talking about doing something that is really, really hard regardless. But if you can get those things in place, you give yourself at least a fighting chance. At least a fighting chance.
Can I say something real quick for Sue? Say I did hear a joke that it was funny as ever, and then I like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So I would subscribe this to everybody. The guy say, man, I remember as a child I never knew what I wanted to be, and it's funny as hell. I got on dating apps and I now know what I want to be. He said, I want to be that nigga that I am on the first date. I thought that was hilarious. And then I said, damn, wait. I would love to be that nigga that I am on the first date every day. But then again, that's a me thing, right? And I now strive to be that nigga that I'm on the first date. And I don't care where you at in life, you can always strive to be better. But at bare minimum, be the nigga that you would be on the first date.
I dig that.
So I got some pushback on that joke, but I'm not
the pushback king.
But I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna finish with my
pull-out
closing
game as
remarks.
good as his pushback.
I'm just
Somebody said you did the pushback king earlier. Like
you
be a terrible barber, bro.
I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave with my parting comments. No, I don't want to. This is a waste of my time. But anyway. So
what an asshole.
I think that the entirety of the Black American experience in America is one that is rooted in trauma. I think over time, we've normalized our traumas and confused our traumas with our truths, right? And I think that the very narrative of how America exists is also still rooted in our traumas. And because we've normalized our traumas, we don't see that as abnormal, right? So the very identity that we yearn for is rooted in our destruction, right? So it's essentially we're feeding the sickness with our aspirations. Our value set is the aspiration.
Some of us.
It feeds the sickness, right? I think in order for us to have successful, loving relationships, to build successful, healthy, loving families, we must let go of the traditional American value set.
Sure.
I see in the comments they said, and I'm paraphrasing because I saw it a bunch of different times, about getting back to tradition. And I often ask myself, whose tradition? And what is that tradition based in? Right? And if I'm the sum total of all that come before me, and I've normalized those traumas, what the fuck does tradition look like in our communities?
Right.
Right. So for me, you talked about, Vic used my word polarity. You talked about essentially
Same thing, right? I've said this several different times over, and this is only from a male perspective. But Amos Wilson says that a man is defined by the environment in which he is inherited, and that you cannot become a man in any society until you've mastered the environment in which you've inherited. It's not about age. It's not about my dick growing through puberty. It's not about none of this simplistic shit that we kind of attach to manhood. It's mastering your fucking environment. If you were born in the hunter-gatherer society, if your ass don't never learn how to hunt or gather, you have never or will never achieve manhood.
60-year-old boy.
A manhood is something to be achieved, right? It's not something you just are ordained into. It is something to be achieved. If we recognize that we are in a forcible caste system, if we recognize that we are suffering through the systemic ramifications of white supremacy,
sure,
and white-dominated capitalism, then the goal of the black man in America, if he wants a healthy family based in this patriarchal umbrella that we're in, the only acceptable response we have to this environment is to conquer it.
Well said. Well said. That is where we will leave the conversation for today. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in.
I can't stand it.
Much ado about nothing. I'm bullshit. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We truly, truly appreciate it, man. I think Darius, the brother Darius, was saying thanks for popping in on a Friday when we could have took the day off. We certainly considered that. Mace probably would have preferred that, so he didn't have to come up here and see what the fuck is going on in the studio. But we like rocking with y'all, man. We like rocking with y'all, and if at all possible, we want to be able to do that. So thank y'all so much for choosing to tune in and be a part of the conversation. It means a whole lot to us. We will see y'all back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Listen, y'all, tune in to What's in it for the Black People Media this evening at 9 p.m. Go Ladies is moving to a new time on Friday evenings. They usually are on Saturday mornings. It's hosted by Magda Desir. And it will be at 9 p.m. this evening. What, Butter?
Hey, Lori Howard, give me a call.
I'm finna beat his ass.
Now.
I'm finna beat his ass.
Right now. Oh, didn't get it. I'm sorry, Mama Howard.
Give you a call because she said, what, great show, sons?
I just looked at a picture.
What an asshole.
Man, smack the shit out of him.
You know what?
Goddamn Rosen people.
Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Go Ladies tonight. Tomorrow we got Man of My Own Black Business with Neil Jackson. And then on Sunday, The Kickback with me and the Bigs, Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin. Thank y'all so much for rocking. We are up out of here for DJ, for Tucson Warner, and thanks to our very, very special guest,
Victor. Love.
And dude.
And dude, stepdaddy.
Y'all have an amazing evening. Peace.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.